Chapter 1997. While Yi Chunfeng and Mo were suppressing the universal sword, Shun Daoxiu, Shun Henggu, and the rest were in a heated battle with the evil god. Although Shun Henggu, Shun Daoxiu, and the rest had the advantage in numbers, the mid-level evil god was too terrifying. He kept crushing their attacks. F***CK. What is this guy? Why isn't he afraid of getting hurt? Zilin, who was controlling Heaven and Earth Ancestor's body, was shocked when she realized that her continuous attacks could not hurt the evil god at all. Roar! Roar! The evil god's eyes locked onto Zilin. He opened his crimson mouth and let out a series of shocking roars, bombarding Zilin at close range. Oh no! Zilin's expression changed. She tried her best to defend herself. However, the difference in strength between her and the evil god was too great. She simply could not withstand the terrifying roar of the evil god and was directly sent flying. She fell heavily to the ground hundreds of meters away and could not get up for a long time. Yi Chunfeng, what is this? I'm going to die from the fall. Zilin, who was spitting out blood, shouted at Yi Chunfeng, who was suppressing the universal sword with all his might. Yi Chunfeng looked at Heaven and Earth Ancestor, who was calling himself, "Stop talking nonsense. Attack with all your might. If we can't suppress him, we'll all die." If Heaven and Earth Ancestor came back to life at this moment, he would probably die from anger. His illustrious reputation was destroyed after Zilin reincarnated in his body. Space destruction. When the evil god sent Zilin flying with a roar, Shun Henggu immediately used level 8 space rules. He destroyed the space around the evil god and launched a fatal attack. The space rules were extremely powerful. They instantly shattered the evil god's defense and damaged his body, causing cracks to appear on his body. However, the evil god had an immortal body. He recovered in the blink of an eye and attacked Shun Henggu and the rest with all his might. Fortunately, Shun Daoxiu and Shun Henggu had broken through to the virtual god realm. The half-step virtual god Grim Reaper, half-step evil god, and war demon's attacks were equally terrifying. They completely blocked the evil god's ferocious attacks. However, the destructive power of their attacks was too terrifying. They destroyed everything. The space at the end of the primordial god ruins was destroyed, and cracks appeared on the ground. What happened? Sensing the tremors coming from below Aeon City, all the major families in Aeon City were alerted. They followed the source of the sound and came to the primordial god ruins. The vibration came from the ancient god ruins. Could it be that Prince Yi has come for the ancient god ruins? Thinking of Yi Chunfeng, who had appeared not long ago, Wei Shitong and the others guessed. Elder Wei, should we go in and take a look? Li Yifeng, the head of the Li clan, asked when he saw that the barrier around the ancient god ruins was severely damaged. Forget it, the ancient god ruins is not something we can meddle in. Let's not join in the fun, lest we lose our lives for no reason. Wei Shitong shook his head. That's right. The ancient god ruins is so huge. The power that can shake the ancient god ruins is not something we can imagine. We should pray that the fierce battle in the ancient god ruins will not cause Aeon City to collapse. Sima Ju nodded and said solemnly. Collapse of Aeon City. Hearing Sima Ju's words, Wei Shitong and the others' faces changed. Let's go back to Aeon City and activate the strongest barrier. We have to protect Aeon City no matter what. Aeon City was their root. Once Aeon City collapsed, it would be equivalent to severing the inheritance of their major families. Thinking of the consequences, Wei Shitong and the others immediately rushed back to Aeon City and activated the strongest barrier, shrouding the violently trembling Aeon City. Mo how long do you need to purify the evil god force in the Universal Origin Sword? The power of the Universal Origin Sword was beyond Yi Chunfeng's imagination. Even with Yi Chunfeng's current strength, he could not withstand it even after fusing with the chaotic avatar. The evil god has refined the universal origin sword for countless years. It is impossible to purify all the evil god force in a short time. I estimate that I will be able to fully master the universal origin sword in about 3 days. Mo-Er's weak voice came from the universal origin sword. 3 days is too long. In a battle between experts, the outcome could be decided in a moment. 3 days was very likely to cause the situation to spiral out of control. Mo-Er, I will let the chaotic avatar help you. In order to purify the evil god force in the universal origin sword as soon as possible, Yi Chenfeng summoned the chaotic avatar that he had fused with himself. He let the chaotic avatar transform into 5 colored roots and forcefully devour the evil god force in the universal origin sword. Without the chaotic avatar, Yi Chenfeng's strength dropped rapidly. His sword domain was easily torn apart by the universal origin sword. Primitive Tao Embryo. In this critical moment, Yi Chenfeng summoned the 2 primitive Tao embryos and attacked the universal origin sword with all his strength. The primitive Tao embryos were indestructible, but they could not withstand the attacks of the universal origin sword. Under the attacks of the universal origin sword, the bodies of the 2 primitive Tao embryos were continuously shattered, leaving behind deep sword scars. Chaotic Avatar, speed up the devouring. The 2 primitive Tao embryos were continuously damaged. Yi Chenfeng immediately communicated with the chaotic avatar and used all his strength to devour the evil god force in the universal origin sword. Although it was extremely difficult for the chaotic avatar to devour the evil god force with the universal origin sword in between, a large amount of evil god force was still devoured by the chaotic avatar. In order to allow the chaotic avatar to devour the evil god force in the universal origin sword was constantly decreasing. Slowly, Mo-Er regained control of the universal origin sword. Big brother, I have regained control of the universal origin sword. The evil god can no longer control its attacks. The extremely weak Mo-Er transmitted her voice with joy. Mo-Er, quickly purify the universal origin sword. Leave the evil god to us. With a thought, Yi Chenfeng merged with the Chaos Dharma form again. He put away the 2 primitive embryos of Tao, which were covered in sword scars and severely damaged, into the universe realm. He wielded the divine sword Swallow Sky and slashed at the invincible evil god, who was gradually suppressing the attacks of Shun Daoshu and the others. Myriad swords return. Yi Chenfeng activated the invincible sword body and fused with the sword domain. In an instant, tens of thousands of divine swords were formed. They fused with the divine sword, Heaven Devour, and slashed towards the roaring evil god. Chi. The evil god's body was directly penetrated by the river of sword shadows. The ground behind him was also pierced by this sword, creating a bottomless hole. In the next moment, the evil god activated the undying bloodline in his body and rapidly repaired his body that had been damaged by the myriad swords' return. He continued to fight fiercely against Shin Daoshu, Shin Hengu, and the others. Evil god domain break. The evil god once again opened up the powerful evil god domain. Borrowing the power of the domain, he neutralized the attacks of Shin Daoshu and the others. God domain, death god domain, evil god domain. Crash. The moment the evil god opened up the evil god domain, Shin Daoshu and the others opened up several large domains at the same time and crashed into the evil god domain. Boom boom boom. Several large domains crashed into each other and the explosive power was earth-shattering. In the end, in the intense collision of several large domains, the powerful domains of the evil god, Shun Hengu, Shun Daoshu, and the others shattered at the same time. They all suffered injuries from the domain's backlash. Myriad Deity Tribulation. As the evil god suffered from the backlash and lost control of his body, Yi Chenfeng deduced the 4 ancestral Tao diagrams to the extreme and transformed them into the Myriad Deity Tribulation. It released the ultimate power of the Tao that could destroy gods and pulverize all living beings. It was like the ultimate destruction of heaven and earth as it blasted towards the evil god. Bang! The evil god suffered a backlash and his body was covered in wounds. Under Yi Chunfeng's all-out myriad deity tribulation, he directly exploded. However, before Yi Chunfeng and the others could suppress him with all their strength, the evil god once again activated his undying bloodline and repaired his exploded body. The terror of the undying body caused Yi Chunfeng and the others to feel a headache coming on. P.S. The WeChat group has been sent to the official WeChat account. However, the WeChat group is too difficult to use and adding to the group is very troublesome. Everyone can first add the official WeChat account, YLTY83, and then add Yunlei's WeChat account. I will add you all into the group. Chapter 1998. Continue to attack. Only by destroying him again and again can we weaken his undying body to the extreme and suppress him. Shen Henggu quickly swallowed an ancestor pellet to suppress his injuries and continued to attack the evil god who had activated his undying body to repair his body. Roar, I want your lives. The worsening of his injuries completely enraged the evil god. He activated his powerful bloodline power, and his crimson body suddenly expanded. He roared at Yi Chunfeng and the others. Roar of the evil god! With one roar, the heavens fell and the earth cracked, space shattered. The terrifying roar was like a rolling river that swept toward Yi Chunfeng and the others, wanting to annihilate them. Celestial demon goblin Dharma idol, 3 heaven-shaking roars. Shin Daoshu quickly blocked in front of the others and formed a 3-headed skull, letting out 3 roars. Although Shin Daoshu had broken through to the low-level virtual god realm and his combat strength had increased by more than 100 times, compared to the mid-level virtual god realm evil god, there was still a huge gap in strength. 4 powerful roars collided, and the celestial demon goblin Dharma idol's roar was instantly shattered. Space black hole. At the critical moment, Shen Henggu mobilized a powerful space power and formed a space black hole, swallowing the roaring roars and neutralizing the evil god's attack. Destruction. The evil god's roar was blocked by Shen Henggu and Shin Daoshu. The evil god immediately launched a destructive attack, directly shattering the space within a few miles and bombarding Yi Chunfeng and the others. Puff puff puff. After receiving the destructive attack of the evil god, Zi Lin and Fa Tianzu, who were both peak ancestor realm, could no longer hold on. They flew back a few thousand meters and fell heavily on the ground, losing the ability to fight again. Although Death God, War Demon, and the half-step evil god resisted the destructive power with their powerful strength, their injuries were also very serious. 1,000 swords returned to origin. 1,000 gods tribulation. Infinite chaos. Enduring the attack of the destructive power, Yi Chunfeng opened up his sword domain and turned his body into 10,000 swords. His left hand formed the 10,000 gods tribulation, and his right hand formed the infinite chaos. He used 3 supreme divine abilities to attack the evil god. Under the attack of the 3 supreme divine abilities, the destructive power was forcibly torn apart. The 3 divine abilities bombarded the evil god's body one after another, worsening its injuries. Explode. Divine Tao Void, Shen Henggu ignored his injuries and attacked the evil god with all his strength. Taking advantage of the fact that the evil god was heavily injured by Yi Chunfeng's 3 supreme divine abilities, Shen Henggu's body exploded. Immortal body repair. With his body destroyed, the evil god did not hesitate to activate his undying bloodline to repair his broken body. He continued to attack Yi Chunfeng and the others. Divine sword swallows the heavens, / The moment evil god's body was repaired, Yi Chunfeng controlled Devourer the heavens to come down. He slashed at evil god's repaired body and cut off half of his body. Following that, Shin Yonggu, Shin Daoshu, the Grim Reaper, and the others launched their attacks, blasting his body apart once again. Although the evil god had the undying body, his body had been blown up again and again, which had a great impact on him. His battle prowess had even declined. At this moment, the evil god's power within the myriad origin sword rapidly disappeared as Mo used all her strength to refine it. This made the evil god, who had regained his freedom, want to retreat. He wanted to quickly break out of the encirclement and escape. Mo, quickly come and help. Sensing the evil god's intention to break out of the encirclement and escape, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned Mo. He controlled Devourer and Myriad Origin Sword to attack Evil God together. Under the attack of the two great Void God weapons, the Evil God's body was forcefully split open. Following that, his broken body was attacked by Shen Yonggu, Shen Daoxiu, and the others, and exploded again. The Evil God's body was continuously blown up, causing the undying bloodline in his body to become weaker and weaker. His battle prowess also continued to decline. Chaos Law Idol, Chaos Divine Wood. Sensing that the time was right, Yi Chunfeng summoned his Chaos Law Idol once again. He controlled his Law Idol to transform into a towering Chaos Divine Wood that was swaying with chaotic 5 elements light. It extended tens of thousands of 5-colored roots and took root on Evil God's exploded body, forcefully devouring him. Chaos Divine Wood. Why is the Chaos Divine Wood here? Although the evil race was known as the Undying Race, they also had a nemesis, which was the Chaos Divine Wood that could devour everything. After being devoured by the Chaos Divine Wood, the evil god, who was severely injured and had a thin undying bloodline, let out a terrified expression. He quickly repaired his broken body and tried to break out of the encirclement. Divine Essence Pagoda suppressed the space. Yi Chunfeng did not give the evil god any chance to break out of the encirclement. He quickly summoned the Divine Essence Pagoda and controlled it to enlarge continuously, suppressing the entire space and restricting the evil god's speed. At the same time, Shen Yonggu, Shen Daoxiu, and the others also attacked with all their might, suppressing the evil god and weakening his battle prowess, creating the best opportunity for the Chaos Divine Wood to devour him. Destroy. Under the Chaos Divine Wood's devouring, the evil god's battle prowess continued to decline. Having just escaped, he did not want to be suppressed again and attacked the Chaos Divine Wood with all his might. However, the Chaos Divine Wood had become extremely terrifying after evolving time and time again. The evil god was continuously defeated and his battle prowess was reduced by 1/3. He could not destroy the Chaos Divine Wood at all. Although the evil god's power was constantly being devoured by the Chaos Divine Wood, his resistance was getting weaker and weaker. Yi Chunfeng took out the extremely precious Soul Eater's brain that could control virtual gods and threw it at the evil god. No, what is this? Feeling the Soul Eater's brain continuously corroding his consciousness, the evil god let out a terrified roar and attacked the Soul Eater's brain with all his might. However, he was too weak at the moment and could not resist the Chaos Divine Wood's devouring and the Soul Eater's brain's corrosion. In addition, Shen Yonggu, Shen Daoxiu, and the others spared no effort to suppress the evil god. Slowly, the evil god's resistance became weaker and weaker. In the end, he lost all resistance and allowed the Soul Eater's brain to corrode his consciousness. Chaos Divine Wood transform. Feeling that the evil god had lost all resistance, Yi Chunfeng retrieved the Chaos Divine Wood and put the evil god into the universe mirror. Chingfeng, thank you. The evil god's threat had always been a thorn in Shen Yonggu's heart. Now that Yi Chunfeng had taken care of it, he no longer had anything to worry about and could devote all his energy to cultivation. Senior Yonggu is too courteous. This is what I should do. Yi Chunfeng smiled, neither haughty nor humble. As thanks, I'll give you the Myriad Origin Sword. Shen Yonggu was not stingy and gave Yi Chunfeng the Myriad Origin Sword, which was even more precious than Devourer. Since that's the case, then I won't stand on ceremony. With the myriad origin sword and devourer, Yi Chunfeng's attacks had reached inconceivable levels. He was completely capable of killing low-level virtual gods and fighting mid-level virtual gods. Big brother, where have you been lately? Just as the dust settled and Shen Daoxiu and the rest were preparing to treat their wounds, Mu Linger suddenly appeared in front of Yi Chunfeng. She stared at his left shoulder and spoke in a soft voice. Linger, is there something wrong with my body? Yi Chunfeng asked with furrowed brows. I sensed a strange soul imprint on your left shoulder, but it doesn't belong to you. Your every move is being monitored by it. Mu Linger nodded. A soul imprint. Yi Chunfeng's expression shifted. He immediately used the God Devourer brain to sense his left shoulder, but found nothing. Linger, can you help me get rid of this soul imprint? Since he couldn't find it himself, Yi Chunfeng could only turn to Mu Linger for help. I'll do my best. Mu Linger took a deep breath before sending strands of strange energy into Yi Chunfeng's left shoulder to forcefully break open the soul imprint. Mu Linger spared no effort to break open the soul imprint on Yi Chunfeng's body. The instant the soul imprint was broken, Yi Chunfeng felt the existence of the memories in his soul. Who exactly left this soul imprint on my body? Yi Chunfeng's brows were tightly knitted together. Could it be Tai? Chapter 1999. Qingfeng, who left a soul imprint on you? When Shen Daoxiu and the others saw that Yi Chunfeng's expression was extremely gloomy and deep in thought, they walked over and asked. I don't know either. Although Yi Chunfeng guessed that the person who left a soul imprint on him was most likely Tai, he didn't say it out loud. Evil God, how many secrets do you know about the celestial race? The evil race had a close relationship with the celestial race. As the king of the evil race, the evil god should know many secrets about the celestial race. Young Master Yi, what do you want to know? Because of Soul Eater's control, the evil god could only obey Yi Chunfeng and ask in a low voice. I want to know if Supreme God Heaven and Supreme Emperor Heaven are the same person. Yi Chunfeng asked. Young Master Yi, this matter is too confidential. I don't know. The evil god shook his head. Then do you know if the true ruler of the celestial race is Supreme God Heaven or Supreme Emperor Heaven? Yi Chunfeng thought for a moment and continued to ask. It's very likely that neither of them is the true ruler of the celestial race. The evil god sank into deep memories and revealed an important piece of information. Evil god, do you know who the true ruler of the celestial race is? Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows and asked in surprise. Even Shen Daoxiu and Shen Yengu were attracted by the evil god's words and surrounded him, wanting to know the secrets of the celestial race. I don't know. That person hides very deeply. I don't think many people in the Void God realm know of his existence. The evil god shook his head. Evil god, do you know the relationship between the human sovereign, Yu Huashen, and the celestial race? Yi Chunfeng asked. As far as I know, the relationship between the human race and the celestial race isn't harmonious. The human sovereign and the celestial race should be enemies. Enemies? Yi Chunfeng's frown deepened. If the human sovereign and the celestial race were enemies, then what was the human race's intention in promoting the alliance with the ancient race and the Yao race? Through the conversation with the evil god, Yi Chunfeng smelled the scent of a conspiracy. Then, evil god, do you know any other great secrets about the celestial race? Yi Chunfeng pondered for a moment before asking. I know that the Heaven clan and the Demon clan have two secret origins. If we destroy those two origins, it will affect the Heaven clan and the Demon clan's ancestral bloodline greatly, said Evil God. Origin source. Yi Chunfeng's eyes lit up. It was extremely difficult for Yi Chunfeng to advance further and break through to half-step virtual god level after cultivating to 6-star ancestor level. However, if he could refine the massive amount of origin energy, it would greatly reduce the speed of his breakthrough to half-step virtual god level. Yes, I know the origins of the heaven race and the demon race are very hidden, but they are one of the most important origins of the two races. If we destroy them, the heaven race and the demon race will definitely go crazy. Evil God nodded. All right, then let's go to the Heaven Clan's origin source first. Thinking that almost all of the almighties of the Heaven Clan and the demon race had gone to the Yao race to search for the Phoenix God and the Chaos Tomb, now was the best time to destroy the origins of the Heaven Clan and the demon race. Yi Chunfeng decided to go to the Heaven Clan's origin source first before going to the demon race to devour the demon race's origin source and teach the Heaven Clan and the demon race a painful lesson. The North Chiu Heavenly Sect was a powerful force that relied on the Heaven Clan. It was located in the North Chiu mountain range and controlled thousands of miles of the North Chiu mountain range. It was the overlord of the North Chiu region. Young Master Yi, the Heaven Clan's secret origin source is hidden in the North Chiu mountain range and has been guarded by the North Chiu Heavenly Sect for generations. The origin source is very important to the Heaven Clan, so normally, every origin source would be guarded by a virtual god of the Heaven Clan. Evil God, who was dressed in a black robe, appeared beside Yi Chunfeng and said slowly. After a month of traveling, Yi Chunfeng and his group finally arrived at the North Chiu Heavenly Sect. However, Yi Chunfeng did not want to expose himself and did not barge into the North Chiu Heavenly Sect. He was planning to frame the human emperor or Yu Huashan to complicate the situation in the virtual god realm. If he could trigger a conflict between the Supreme God Heaven, Supreme Emperor Heaven and the human emperor and Yu Huashan, it would be even better. I know. You go to the universe realm to cultivate first. I'll go to the North Chiu Heavenly City and see if there are any opportunities. After that, Yi Chunfeng sent Evil God into the universe realm and brought the mysterious Mu Linger with him to the North Chiu mountain range outside of the North Chiu mountain range. How can I frame the human emperor and Yu Huashan and successfully devour the Heaven Clan's origin source? Yi Chunfeng walked into the North Chiu Heavenly City, which had different architectural styles and pavilions. It was bustling with noise and liveliness. Yi Chunfeng released his powerful spirit energy to cover a radius of a few li to collect useful information. Big brother Yi, I'm so hungry. Let's go eat something, okay? Mu Linger, who had a unique temperament, was like a lotus flower as she gently swung Yi Chunfeng's arm. All right, let's go to the front to eat. Yi Chunfeng nodded and brought Mu Linger to an elegant and luxurious restaurant in the North Chiu Heavenly City. Mu Linger's temperament was natural and invisibly dazzling. When she entered the restaurant with Yi Chunfeng, she immediately attracted the attention of many people. Young Master Gu, what do you think of that girl? Seeing the natural temperament of Mu Linger, a man in white robes with long eyes and a malicious look lightly nudged the man in black beside him as he spoke in a low voice. She really is a rare beauty. The man in black nodded as he looked at Mu Linger, who was drinking tea in silence while waiting for food. I've heard that what young Master Tian likes the most is to collect all kinds of beautiful women. This young lady will definitely suit young Master Tian's taste. If we present her to young Master Huang, we will have a chance to make friends with him. The white-robed man's lips curled up slightly as he suggested softly. You're right. With this girl's temperament, she'll definitely move young Master Huang. Young Master Ji's eyes lit up. Let's go take a look and find out their origins. Young Master Gu was not a reckless person and prepared to test Yi Chunfeng and his companion first. The two of you look unfamiliar. Are you new to the North Chiu Heavenly City? Young Master Gu and the other young master slowly walked over with 2 cups of fine wine that emitted traces of cool air. They asked with ill intentions, "What does this have to do with you?" Yi Chunfeng put down his teacup and glanced at the two of them as he spoke in a neutral tone. Haha, please don't mind us. We don't have any ill intentions, we just want to make friends with you. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's cold tone, the shrewd young Master Gu didn't get angry, but chuckled as he spoke. You're not telling the truth. You're up to no good by coming here. Mu Linger shook her head as she spoke with hostility. Miss, you're wrongly accusing us. Young Master Go looked at Mu Linger's pure and lovely face and felt more and more moved. We really feel like we've met at first sight and want to make friends with you. You'll be struck by lightning if you lie. You better not lie. Mu Linger said innocently. Haha, Mrs. Right. Lying will get you struck by lightning, but we're sincere, so we'll definitely be fine. The man in white robes laughed, amused by Mu Linger's innocent words. But in the next instant, terrifying rolls of thunder came from above the restaurant. Chapter 2000. Lightning. They really were struck by lightning, and it was the terrifying sky-piercing Saint Lightning. There really is such an evil thing. Everyone in the restaurant was stunned by the sight of young Master Go and young Master Go twitching on the ground. They looked at the innocent Mu Linger in a different light. Damned girl, my Go clan won't let you off. Young Master Go spat out a mouthful of black smoke as he glared at Mu Linger. He wasn't an idiot and knew this was all Mu Linger's doing. Although Mu Linger was a little strange, he relied on his status to disregard her and Yi Chunfeng. His eyes flashed with ruthlessness as he prepared to take revenge on Mu Linger. I warned you long ago that you'd be struck by lightning for lying, but you didn't believe me. Mu Linger ignored young Master Ji's threat. If you speak rudely again, you'll be struck by lightning again. You, young Master Go, pointed a trembling finger at Yi Chunfeng. Although he wanted to curse him to vent his anger, he couldn't help but feel apprehensive at the sight of Mu Linger. His curses got stuck in his throat. Rumble. At this moment, another bolt of lightning descended from the skies and slammed into young Master Ji's body, splitting his skin and flesh open. He hovered between life and death, almost crying. I hate it when people point at me. If you dare to point at me again, the heavens will punish you on my behalf. Mu Linger said angrily as she looked at the scorched, smoking, twitching young Master Go. What frightening control of nature! Yi Chunfeng's pupils shrunk as he looked at Mu Linger in shock. He never expected her to have such terrifying control of nature, enough to summon the sky-piercing Saint Lightning out of thin air. Young Master Go was on the verge of death after being struck by the sky-piercing Saint Lightning. He didn't dare to offend Mu Linger again. Soul Search. Just as young Master Go and his companion were praying for Yi Chunfeng and his companion to leave as soon as possible so that they could return to their families and gather experts for revenge, Yi Chunfeng arrived beside young Master Go and his companion. He easily took control of them and searched their souls. Yes, the Lord of the North Chiu Heavenly Sect will be holding a banquet in the North Chiu Heavenly Sect in 8 days to celebrate his breakthrough to the Ancestor Realm. At that time, Tian Clan, Demon Clan, and some of the forces they control will come to congratulate you. Yi Chunfeng unexpectedly obtained important information from Gu Xiao's Sea of Soul and revealed a look of surprise. Let's go, Linger. Let's find a place to rest. Other than knowing that the North Chiu Heavenly Sect was about to hold a banquet, Yi Chunfeng also knew that Huang Yichen, one of the 4 young masters of the Imperial Heavenly Clan, was about to arrive. Who? Hearing that Yi Chunfeng and Mu Linger were about to leave, the dizzy young Master Go and his companion exhaled in relief. Suddenly, Yi Chunfeng raised his legs and viciously kicked young Master Go and his companion. Their bodies were charred black and sent flying through the solid wall before crashing into the bustling street. It was unknown whether they were dead or alive. Big Brother Yi, where are we going next? Mu Linger asked in silence. Her delicate face didn't show a trace of worry. We'll rest in the universe realm first and wait for the Celestial Clan to arrive. The Celestial Clan and the Gu Clan had close ties. Moreover, Huang Yichen was lustful and young Master Gu had found him many beauties. Thus, Huang Yichen would stay at the Gu clan for a few days after arriving in North Chiu Heavenly City. According to the information from Gu Xiao's Sea of Soul, Yi Chunfeng and his companion arrived outside the Ji clan estate. They found a secluded place and entered the universe realm with Mu Linger. Silence awaited Huang Yichen's arrival. Yi Chunfeng was preparing to disguise himself as Huang Yichen and enter the North Chiu heavenly sect to devour the source of heaven. While Yi Chunfeng was waiting in the universe realm, the severely injured young Master Gu and his companion were carried back to the Ji clan estate. Instantly, the Gu clan of the North Chiu heavenly city was enraged and sent out many experts to search for Yi Chunfeng and his companions' whereabouts. But the experts of the Gu clan searched the entire North Chiu heavenly city once, without finding Yi Chunfeng and his companion. This made young Master Gu even angrier and gloomier. Just as young Master Gu was unwilling to give up and continued to urge the experts of the Gu family to track down Yi Chunfeng and Yi Chunfeng, a group of people from the Heavenly Imperial clan led by Huang Yichen arrived at the North Chiu heavenly city, restoring peace to the city. "Brother Yichen, you're finally here." Young Master Gu, whose injuries had mostly recovered, but his complexion was still slightly pale, saw Huang Yichen, one of the 4 young masters of the Sky Imperial clan, who wore a white robe, a crown on his head, and a pair of boots on his feet. He immediately went up to greet him. Xiaojun, what happened to you?" Huang Yichen glanced at the pale-faced Gu Xiaojun, whose aura was a little chaotic, and frowned. To tell you the truth, I found a peerless beauty for Brother Yichen a few days ago. But I wasn't careful and fell into their trap. They injured me." Gu Xiaojun sighed softly. Then, he added fuel to the fire. Did you catch that beauty in the end?" Huang Yichen's expression darkened as he asked in a low voice. "Not yet." Gu Xiaojun shook his head. "The experts of the Gu clan have searched the entire North Chiu heavenly city, but couldn't find them. We don't know where they've hidden themselves, but we can be sure that they haven't left the city." "It's good that they haven't left the city. You must catch that woman. I'd like to see what kind of beauty she is to dare injure you," Huang Yichen said maliciously. In his eyes, Mu Linger was far more important than Gu Xiaojun, who was loyal to him. "Let's go, Yichen, let's talk inside." While Huang Yichen and Gu Xiaojun were exchanging pleasantries, an old man in dark gray robes with a long white beard and a glowing face spoke up. "It's the Grand Elder." Although Huang Yichen was one of the 4 young masters of the Imperial Celestial clan, he didn't dare to act presumptuously in front of the old man. When the Gu clan found out that the old man was the Grand Elder of the Imperial Celestial clan, Ling Guangzhu, who was at the peak of the Ancestor realm, they immediately welcomed Huang Yichen's group into the Gu clan and warmly entertained them. After 3 rounds of drinking, the sky gradually darkened. The equally lecherous Ling Guangzhu and Huang Yichen were arranged to stay in the same courtyard. "Xiaojun, the old ancestor and I are tired. Hurry and arrange for a few beauties to relieve us of our tiredness," Huang Yichen ordered loudly as he reeked of alcohol. "Old ancestor, Brother Yichen, I've already arranged the beauties for you. I guarantee you'll be satisfied." Gu Xiaojun smiled coquettishly before clapping his hands. Immediately, guards carried over the 6 charming beauties that the Gu clan had used all sorts of despicable methods to kidnap over the past few days. Ling Guangzhu and Huang Yichen's eyes lit up when they saw the 6 pale-faced women wrapped in gauze, outlining their graceful figures. They couldn't wait to tear apart the gauze that was wrapped around their bodies. "All right, there's nothing else for you to do here. You can go rest now." The impatient Huang Yichen waved his hand impatiently and urged him on. Yes. Fabright ancestor, Brother Yichen, I won't disturb your mood any further. Enjoy yourselves," Gu Xiaojun said before withdrawing. He also ordered that no one in the Gu clan was allowed to approach the courtyard where Huang Yichen and Mu Linger were resting. Just as Huang Yichen activated the restrictions around the courtyard to prevent anyone from disturbing them, a streak of dust appeared in the courtyard. Chapter 2001. Who's there? Ling Guangzhu, who was about to bring the 3 girls back to his room, suddenly sensed an unfamiliar aura and became alert. "I didn't expect you to be so sharp." With a thought, Yi Chunfeng left the universe realm and appeared in the outside world. Then, he watched quietly. Ling Guangzhu and Huang Yichen said indifferently, "How dare you ruin this young master's mood? I think you must be tired of living." Huang Yichen looked at Yi Chunfeng with a gloomy expression as he said in a sinister voice, "Sigh, with your eyesight, you can become one of the 4 young masters of the Imperial Sky Clan? Looks like the Imperial Sky Clan is going to fall." Yi Chunfeng sighed softly, not putting Huang Yichen in his eyes at all. "Brat, don't be arrogant. Do you really think that I can't deal with you?" Ling Guangzhu said angrily. Although he felt a strong dangerous aura from Yi Chunfeng, he was confident that he still had many methods to suppress Yi Chunfeng. "Just a peak ancestor. Even if you're an empty god, you can't deal with me." Yi Chunfeng shook his head and replied domineeringly, "Good, good. I'll see what kind of ability you have to spout such arrogant words." Ling Guangzhu was enraged, and was about to burn his powerful bloodline power to suppress Yi Chunfeng with a thunderous force and interrogate him about his identity. "I'm afraid you'll cry." Yi Chunfeng smiled and summoned the evil god, Shun Daoshu and Shun Hengu out of the universe realm. Three empty gods. Ling Guangzhu was the supreme elder of the Imperial Sky Clan and often saw empty gods. He was familiar with the aura of empty god. When the 3 of them appeared, Ling Guangzhu's eyes widened in shock. He could not believe that Yi Chunfeng had 3 empty gods by his side. Ling Guangzhu was not the only one who was scared silly. Huang Yichen also revealed a look of horror. He quickly took out a communication pearl and wanted to send a message for help. Whoosh! An ear-piercing sword cry rang out. With a single thought, Yi Chunfeng's ancestral sword spirit flew out of his sea of soul. With a single slash, it tore through space and chopped off Huang Yichen's right arm. A large amount of blood gushed out like a fountain as Huang Yichen roared in pain. Although Huang Yichen's cries were very loud, there was a strong restriction in the courtyard. In addition, there was no one around the courtyard. Even if Huang Yichen screamed himself hoarse, no one could hear him. "Who are you? Could it be that you have enmity with my celestial imperial clan?" Ling Guangzhu did his best to calm himself down. Facing 3 foe gods, he knew that he had no chance. He could only think of other methods. "Who do you think we are?" Yi Chunfeng put his hands behind his back and said indifferently, "Humph, I am a Grand Elder of the Imperial Sky Clan." His life jade has always been with the Imperial Sky Clan. If something happens to the Imperial Sky Clan will immediately know. At that time, you guys will not be able to escape from my Imperial Sky Clan's pursuit no matter where you go. Ling Guangzhu snorted coldly and used the Imperial Sky Clan to pressure Yi Chunfeng and the rest. "If I was afraid of the Imperial Sky Clan's revenge, would I still make a move against you guys?" Yi Chunfeng said indifferently. "Alright, if you guys are more obedient, I can let you guys suffer less. Otherwise, I will let you guys have a taste of my torture methods." Yi Chunfeng warned indifferently. Blood escape. Facing an enemy that he could not fight against, Ling Guangzhu knew that he could only escape. Immediately, he ignited all the blood in his body and turned into a bloody light, wanting to break through the restriction in the courtyard and escape. "Do you think you can escape in front of this god?" The demon god snorted coldly and opened up a terrifying demon god realm. In an instant, it engulfed Ling Guangzhu, who was covered in bloody light, and trapped him inside. In the next moment, the rolling power of the demon god realm turned into a huge hand that covered the sky. Under Ling Guangzhu's horrified gaze, he was held in the hand. The terrifying power continuously crushed all the bones in Ling Guangzhu's body, and a large amount of blood flowed out uncontrollably. When Ling Guangzhu was severely injured by the demon god, Yi Chunfeng appeared beside Huang Yichen, who had lost his right arm and was howling in pain. He easily injured him and stepped on him. Universe Realm, Keep. After injuring Ling Guangzhu and Huang Yichen at lightning speed, Yi Chunfeng immediately kept the 2 of them, who had no strength to resist, into the universe realm. Zilin, can you disguise as Ling Guangzhu? There was definitely an empty god in the North Chiu heavenly sect. In order to avoid being exposed, Yi Chunfeng still needed someone to disguise as Ling Guangzhu. As a 6-star ancestor, Zilin was the best candidate. Why should I help you? Zilin, who was still brooding about becoming an old man, said coldly. If you can disguise as Ling Guangzhu and help me complete this plan, I'll give you 2 Chaos Divine Fruits that contain half of the domain intent and help you enter the half-step empty god realm. Yi Chunfeng tempted. Really? Zilin's eyes lit up. Okay, leave everything to me. After saying that, Zilin came to Ling Guangzhu, whose body was severely damaged and had fallen into a coma. She performed a soul search on him forcefully and obtained his soul memory. Transform. In the next moment, Zilin's entire body kept changing and she quickly turned into Ling Guangzhu's appearance. Not bad, not bad. Looking at Zilin, who looked exactly like Ling Guangzhu, Yi Chunfeng revealed a satisfied smile. My transformation ability can only last for about 10 days. If I want to use it again after 10 days, I have to wait for a year. So, I can only help you for 10 days. Zilin said in Ling Guangzhu's voice. 10 days is enough. Yi Chunfeng nodded. Illusion Dao Intent Transform. Yi Chunfeng came to Huang Yichen, who had lost his right arm and was lying on the ground. He performed a soul search on him and disguised himself as him. When he was searching Huang Yichen's soul search, Yi Chunfeng could not help but reveal a fierce look in his eyes. He realized that Huang Yichen had used his identity to harm too many ladies over the years. If Yi Chunfeng was not afraid of alerting the enemy by killing him, he would have killed him long ago. Let's go, Zilin. Let's go out. Yi Chunfeng, who had disguised himself as Huang Yichen and Ling Guangzhu, immediately brought Zilin outside. Oh, there are so many beautiful ladies. Zilin looked at the 6 beautiful ladies who were wrapped in gauze. They had graceful figures and exposed snow-white shoulders. She chuckled and said, Chingfeng, you're lucky. You're going to be the emperor tonight. Yi Chunfeng rolled his eyes at Zilin and released his powerful soul force into the souls of the 6 beautiful ladies. He used the God-Eater brain to forcefully erase a portion of their memories and put them into the universe mirror. He was prepared to teach the Gu clan a lesson and return their freedom. The night passed quickly. Early the next morning, Gu Xiaojun came to the courtyard where Huang Yichen and the others were resting and saw Yi Chunfeng and Zilin, who had just walked out of the room. Ancestor, Brother Yichen, I wonder if you had a good rest last night? Are those ladies satisfied? Gu Xiaojun had a charming smile on his face. He wanted to use the ladies to get closer to Ling Guangzhu and Zilin. They're not satisfied. Zilin shook her head and imitated Ling Guangzhu's voice as she spoke coldly. This. Is it because they're insensible and made the ancestor angry? Gu Xiaojun's expression changed slightly, and he hurriedly apologized. Ancestor, please calm down. I'll definitely teach them a lesson and give the ancestor an explanation. It's not that they made me angry, but that they don't suit my taste. Zilin looked at Gu Xiaojun, who was tall and straight. Although his face was a little pale, it was difficult to hide his natural and unrestrained charm. What kind of taste does the ancestor like? I'll find it for you immediately. Although Gu Xiaojun noticed that Ling Guangzhu's gaze was a little strange, he didn't think too much about it and patted his chest as he promised. No need to go through so much trouble. I think you're not bad. Zilin, who had been empty for hundreds of thousands of years, opened her mouth and said with a burning gaze. When he met Ling Guangzhu's burning gaze, Gu Xiaojun suddenly felt like he was being stared at by a wolf. His heart trembled, and all the hair on his body stood on end. Ancestor, I'm a man, Gu Xiaojun said with a trembling voice. I like men. Ling Guangzhu laughed and said, Let's go. Follow me into the house. After saying that, Ling Guangzhu and Yi Chunfeng exchanged glances. When they realized that Yi Chunfeng didn't stop them, they were overjoyed. They immediately tied up Gu Xiaojun, whose body was stiff and covered in cold sweat, and brought him into the house as Gu Xiaojun painfully begged for mercy. Soon, shrill screams came from the house. Gu Xiaojun was knocked unconscious by Zilin and fell into the wolf's mouth. Chapter 2002. Gu Clan, how dare you! Zilin walked out of the house with a satisfied expression. She glanced at Yi Chunfeng, who had a faint smile on his face. Suddenly, her expression changed and she let out a furious roar. It was as if thunder from the ninth heaven reverberated in the sky above the Gu residence, shocking the entire Gu residence. Under Zilin's cruel torture, Gu Xiaojun breathed his last and died in fear. In the next moment, after hearing Zilin's angry roar, more than 10 Imperial Heavenly Clan experts and the upper echelons of the Gu clan rushed over to see what was going on. Old ancestor, what happened? Looking at Zilin's angry face, the Gu clan head, Gu Jingyuan's heart trembled. He immediately walked forward and asked in fear. Your son is so daring. How dare he offend me? I won't let the Gu clan off. Zilin's body was filled with a terrifying murderous aura as she said murderously. This, old ancestor, is this a misunderstanding? How dare Xiaojun offend you? Gu Jingyuan's face changed drastically as he quickly apologized. Misunderstanding? Zilin's eyes were cold as she said, So, you think that I have nothing better to do and wronged your son? No, that's not what I meant, Gu Jingyuan said with beads of sweat on his forehead. Although the Gu clan was an overlord-level force in the North Zhou Heavenly City, compared to the North Zhou Heavenly Sect and the Imperial Heavenly Clan, it was too far away. The strongest old ancestor in the Gu clan was only a 5-star heavenly ancestor. There was an insurmountable gap between him and Ling Guangzhu. Moreover, Ling Guangzhu was not the only heavenly ancestor from the Imperial Heavenly Clan. Once Ling Guangzhu was angered, it would definitely bring disaster to the Gu clan. Moreover, no one would speak up for the Gu clan. Then what do you mean? Zilin said domineeringly. Gu Jingyuan, Yichen and I didn't come to your Gu clan to be bullied. If you don't give me an explanation today, don't blame me for being rude to your Gu clan. Old ancestor, calm down. I'll call Xiaojun over and let him apologize to old ancestor and young master Yichen. Gu Jingyuan could not think of how Gu Xiaojun had offended Ling Guangzhu. He only wanted to find Gu Xiaojun to settle this matter. There's no need to find him. Gu Xiaojun offended me and I have already killed him, Zilin said coldly. Kill him. Hearing Zilin's words, Gu Jingyuan's eyelids twitched. Gu Xiaojun was his most beloved son and the future hope of the Gu family. Now that he learned that Gu Xiaojun had been killed, Gu Jingyuan felt as if a sharp sword had pierced into his heart. He almost couldn't control his emotions. What? You want to avenge your son? Zilin was a fearless person. Her complexion turned gloomy as soon as she caught sight of the stern look in Gu Jingyuan's eyes. No, Patriarch, don't misunderstand. I didn't mean that. Gu Jingyuan's heart trembled when he felt the vast aura coming from Ling Guangzhu's body. Reason overcame his anger, and he quickly explained. Ancestor, I really want to know how Xiaojun offended you. Gu Jingyuan took a deep breath and asked in a low voice while enduring the grief of losing his son. You want to know? Zilin said with killing intent, That's easy. I'll kill you now. You can ask him yourself when you go to hell. No, Gu Jingyuan didn't expect Ling Guangzhu to be so unreasonable. If he had known this would happen, he wouldn't have invited Ling Guangzhu and the others to the Gu family as guests. But it was too late to regret, and he didn't dare to mention revenge. At this time, Gu Jingyuan only wanted to quell the anger in Ling Guangzhu's heart as soon as possible and send them away. Ling Guangzhu, he's just a junior. Do you have to be so angry? Suddenly, a deep voice resounded in the oppressive courtyard. Gu Taishan, the Gu family's patriarch, appeared. He was wearing a long robe. His skin was dark, and his snow-white hair fluttered on his shoulders. Every step he took caused the space to tremble. Patriarch! Gu Jingyuan and the others breathed a sigh of relief when they saw Gu Taishan, who had been in seclusion and rarely showed his face. Who do you think you are? Do you think you can meddle in this patriarch's affairs? Zilin glanced sharply at Gu Taishan, who was a 5-star patriarch, and said rudely, Ling Guangzhu, my Gu family has no intention of becoming enemies with you. Please be magnanimous and spare my Gu family. The corners of Gu Taishan's eyes twitched as he suppressed the anger in his heart and said in a low voice, I can spare you, but are you not prepared to take out something to appease my anger? Zilin opened her mouth like a lion, preparing to extort the Gu family. What does Ling Guangzhu want? Gu Taishan asked in a low voice. Forget it, seeing that your Gu family is not easy, I won't ask for much. I only want 3 things. Zilin raised 3 fingers and said the names of 3 treasures. Every time Zilin said a treasure, Gu Taishan, Gu Jingyuan, and the others' eyes twitched. Obviously, these 3 treasures were extremely precious, and with the Gu family's strength, it was impossible to take them out. I'm sorry, Ling Guangzhu, my Gu family doesn't have the 3 treasures you mentioned. Gu Taishan braced himself and said, It seems that your Gu family doesn't want to solve this problem. Since that's the case, don't blame this patriarch for starting a massacre. Zilin's killing intent was extremely heavy. Wait, Ling Guangzhu, what do you think of this thing? Can it calm your anger? Gu Taishan was very clear about the destructive power of a peak patriarch, and immediately took out a stone emitting 5-colored divine light. 5-colored divine stone. Zilin's eyes immediately lit up. How about this, if you give me 10 5-colored divine stones, I'll leave immediately and won't cause trouble for your Gu family. 10 Gu Taishan didn't expect Zilin to be so ruthless as to ask for 10 5-colored divine stones. One had to know that with the status of the Gu family in the North Chiu Heavenly City, they only had 1 5-colored divine stone. Even the North Chiu Heavenly Sect couldn't take out 10 5-colored divine stones. I'm sorry, Ling Guangzhu, my Gu family only has 1 5-colored divine stone. Gu Taishan forcefully suppressed the anger in his heart and said in a low voice, Forget it, I don't want to make things too difficult for you. How about this, your Gu family quickly open the treasury and let me and Yi Chen choose a few treasures, then we'll leave. Zilin directly snatched the 5-colored divine stone from Gu Taishan's hand and said with waning interest, Ling Guangzhu, my Gu family has always followed the lead of the Imperial Heavenly Clan, why do you have to force us? Gu Taishan was about to go crazy from anger. If it wasn't for Ling Guangzhu's terrifying strength, Gu Taishan would have already fought with him for 300 rounds. I've already given your Gu family a lot of face. If you still don't know what's good for you, then don't blame me for being impolite. Zilin said impatiently. Okay, I'll bring Old Ancestor and Young Master Yi Chen to the treasury. Gu Jingyuan sighed deeply and said with clenched teeth. Gu Jingyuan, who had always bullied and blackmailed others, didn't expect that there would be a day when he would be blackmailed. Old Ancestor, Young Master Yi Chen, this is the treasury of my Gu family. Please take a few treasures for the sake of my Gu family's loyalty to the Imperial Heavenly Clan. Gu Jingyuan endured the pain in his heart and said apologetically with a smile. Okay. Zilin, whose eyes were shining, waved her hand and said impatiently, This, and this. Zilin pointed at more than 10 treasures. Seeing that the treasures that Zilin pointed out weren't very valuable, Gu Jingyuan heaved a sigh of relief. However, Zilin's next words almost made Gu Jingyuan faint from anger. Other than the treasures that I pointed out just now, I'll take the rest. Chapter 2003. Zilin, now that you've had your fun, can you give me the treasures now? Yi Chunfeng and the rest left the Gu family and headed towards the North Chiu Heavenly Sect. On the way, Yi Chunfeng sent a telepathic message to Zilin. Yi Chunfeng, are you jealous? Zilin smirked and sent a telepathic message to him. If you're willing to give me the treasures, I'll serve you well. No need, I'm not interested in you. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and rejected her telepathically. Really? I think you're lying. Zilin continued to tease Yi Chunfeng with her voice transmission. I'm telling the truth. Yi Chunfeng said without hesitation, because you're a little ugly. I'm ugly, but don't you have eyes? Zilin had always been confident in her looks. When she heard Yi Chunfeng insult her beauty in front of everyone, she was furious. Alright, Zilin, if you want the Chaos Divine Fruit, you'd better give me the treasures you plundered from the Gu family. Yi Chunfeng sent a telepathic message to Zilin, however, I can give you the 5-colored celestial stone. That's more like it. Compared to the million-year collection of the Gu family, the 5-colored celestial stone was more tempting to Zilin. In addition, the Chaos Divine Fruit was very important to her, so she obediently gave a few interspatial rings to Yi Chunfeng. Soon Yi Chunfeng and the rest arrived at the North Chiu mountain range. Knowing that Yi Chunfeng and the rest had arrived, the disciples of the North Chiu heavenly sect did not dare to delay. They immediately opened the gate and invited Yi Chunfeng and the rest into the North Chiu heavenly sect. What a powerful array prohibition! After entering the North Chiu heavenly sect, the God-Eater brain quickly deduced that there were layers upon layers of restrictions in the North Chiu mountain range, covering the entire North Chiu heavenly sect. Even the God-Eater brain could not sense the actual situation of the North Chiu heavenly sect. In order to conceal their origin, the heavenly tribe has put in a lot of effort in the North Chiu heavenly sect. I wonder how many virtual gods are guarding the origin of the heavenly tribe. Yi Chunfeng mumbled to himself as he followed the disciples of the North Chiu heavenly sect to the deepest part of the North Chiu mountain range. He saw a magnificent palace. Ling Guangzhu Yichen, you're finally here. Looking at Yi Chunfeng's group flying in from afar, the sect leader of the North Chiu heavenly sect, Chiu Yunchuan, arrived at the entrance of the sect with a group of disciples of the North Chiu heavenly sect. He was wearing a dark golden robe with cloud patterns. Sect Master Chiu, congratulations on breaking through to the peak of the Ancestor Realm. Looking at Chiu Yunchuan and the others, Yi Chunfeng imitated Huang Yichen's tone and ordered people to deliver a big gift. Ling Guangzhu Yichen, please come in. Chiu Yunchuan lowered his posture and personally invited Yi Chunfeng and the others into the North Chiu heavenly sect. Entering the North Chiu heavenly sect, Yi Chunfeng saw that many forces that were affiliated with the heavenly tribe had arrived early. Because of the superior status of the heavenly tribe, when they saw Yi Chunfeng and Ling Guangzhu slowly walking into the main hall, they did not dare to be arrogant and went forward to greet them. After the greetings, Chiu Yunchuan hosted a banquet for Yi Chunfeng and the others and arranged for them to rest in the best location of the North Chiu heavenly sect, near a cliff and close to the Sea of Clouds. Ling Guangzhu Yichen, the beauties have been arranged for you. If there's anything you're not satisfied with, just say it and treat this place as your home. Chiu Yunchuan said enthusiastically. Wait, I'm not interested in women. Call the young master of the Heavenly Yuan sect over. I want to have a long talk with him. Zilin suddenly called out to Chiu Yunchuan, who was about to leave, and ordered him not to be disobeyed. This, Chiu Yunchuan raised his eyebrows. He did not expect Ling Guangzhu to change his taste and want the young master of the Heavenly Yuan sect. Why? Is it difficult? Zilin's face darkened and said, Go to the Heavenly Yuan sect and tell them that this is my order. If they dare to disobey, I will destroy them. Okay, I'll go now. Although the North Chiu Heavenly sect had a good relationship with the Heavenly Yuan sect, the Heavenly Royal Clan was one of the two overlords of the Heavenly Clan. He did not dare to disobey Zilin's order and obediently asked someone to call the young master of the Heavenly Yuan sect over. Sect Leader Chiu, Senior Lingguang, Young Master Yichen, you are looking for me. The handsome young master of the Heavenly Yuan sect, who was wearing a white robe, walked over slowly and bowed respectfully. You are indeed handsome, just like I's taste. Zilin looked at the young master of the Heavenly Yuan sect, and was more satisfied with him. Thank you for the compliment, Senior Lingguang. The young master of the Heavenly Yuan sect, who did not know what was going on, said respectfully and did not think much of it. If you really want to thank me, then serve me well. If I am satisfied with your service, I will reward you handsomely. With that, Zilin carried the young master of the Heavenly Yuan sect, who was in a daze, and walked into the courtyard. Senior, what are you trying to do? The Heavenly Yuan sect's young master felt all the hair on his body stand up as he cried out in fear when he saw the fervent look in Elder Lingguang's eyes. You will know in a while. Zilin directly tied up the struggling young master of the Heavenly Yuan sect and brought him into the room. Soon, shrill screams could be heard, causing Qiu Yunchuan and the others to tremble in fear. Gu! Young Master Ichen, I still have something to do, I will not disturb you. Qiu Yunchuan gulped and quickly left the courtyard with his stunned subordinate. Sigh, a woman who has been empty for hundreds of thousands of years is really scary. Yi Chunfeng sighed softly and walked into the courtyard. He opened the soundproofing restriction and entered his room. He saw two naked beauties with skin as smooth as milk lying on a large, soft bed. They were looking at him with blushing cheek. Put on your clothes and bring me around the North Chiu mountain range. Although the scene in front of him was enough to make an ordinary man go crazy, Yi Chunfeng's heart was strong and he was not affected by ordinary women. Yes. Looking into Yi Chunfeng's cold eyes, the two female disciples of the North Chiu heavenly sect trembled inexplicably. They slowly sat up and put on their clothes in front of Yi Chunfeng. Under the night sky, they brought him out of the courtyard by the cliff and into the North Chiu mountain range with towering ancient trees and strange rock. Out of Yi Chunfeng's expectations, the two female disciples were very familiar with the North Chiu mountain range. Yi Chunfeng followed them and had a deeper understanding of the North Chiu mountain range. What is in front of us? Yi Chunfeng asked in a low voice as he pointed at a space covered by a thick sea of clouds. In front of us is the forbidden area of the North Chiu heavenly sect. We have never entered it. The two female disciples shook their heads. Forbidden area. Although Yi Chunfeng was afraid of alerting the enemy and did not use the God-engulfing brain to explore, he had a feeling that the forbidden area in front of them was the inheritance of the divine clan. Let's go back. After locking onto the target, Yi Chunfeng did not stay in the North Chiu mountain range for long. He brought the two girls back to the courtyard by the cliff to rest. Just as they reached the courtyard, Yi Chunfeng faintly heard the sound of a man crying. He shook his head lightly and brought the two girls into the room. All right, I am going to cultivate. You two can rest in another room, Yi Chunfeng said faintly. Young master, are you looking down on us sisters? A woman in green gently bit her rosy lips and asked in a lovely voice. No, I am just cultivating a divine power recently and I cannot get close to women. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and casually found an excuse. But master, we have been given to you by the sect leader. If we go back like this, we will definitely be punished by the sect leader. The two girls said pitifully. Don't worry, I will explain everything to the sect leader. I will not let you be punished. Chapter 2004. As the night deepened, the noisy North Chiu heavenly sect gradually quietened down. Swoosh! Under the control of Yi Chunfeng, the Qiankuan mirror broke out of the courtyard by the cliff and quickly arrived at the forbidden grounds of the North Chiu heavenly sect. Space-swallowing bug, break the seal quickly. Yi Chunfeng used the Qiankuan mirror and found that there was no one around. He summoned the space-swallowing bug and ordered it to quickly devour the powerful seal that enveloped the forbidden grounds. Soon, the space-swallowing bug bit a big hole in the powerful seal and Yi Chunfeng's body flashed as he entered the forbidden grounds. This is the ancestral grounds of the North Chiu heavenly sect, not the origin of the heavenly tribe. After entering the forbidden grounds, the god-devouring brain quickly deduced the powerful aura of the ancestral grounds but could not sense the origin. Could it be that the origin of the heavenly tribe is somewhere else? Yi Chunfeng frowned and muttered to himself. Who are you? What do you want to do by barging into the ancestral grounds of the North Chiu heavenly sect? Just as Yi Chunfeng was deep in thought, a low voice entered his ears. An old man wearing a linen robe and exuding a fierce aura appeared. Half step to empty God. Feeling the power of territory surging from the old man, Yi Chunfeng immediately guessed that he was a half-step to empty God who had surpassed the peak of the ancestral grounds. Who do you think I am? Yi Chunfeng, who was disguised as Huang Yichen, smiled faintly as he stared at the half-step to empty God, guarding against him. I can't guess your identity, but I know that you are not one of the 4 young masters of the imperial clan, Huang Yichen. The half-step to empty God said without hesitation. You are wrong. I am Huang Yichen. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and denied. Whether you admit it or not, I can be sure that you are not Huang Yichen. The half-step empty God said, How dare you disguise yourself as young Master Huang to cause trouble on the North Chiu Heavenly Sect's day of celebration? I really want to know who you are. As he spoke, the half-step empty God Realm Master took a step forward and appeared in front of Yi Chunfeng as if he had teleported. He reached out his skinny old hand to grab Yi Chunfeng. Humph, even a half-step virtual god wants to capture me? Yi Chunfeng snorted coldly. He ignited his primordial bloodline and merged it with the heart of God, instantly increasing his ability to pinnacle half-step virtual god. He threw a punch and instantly unleashed a force of more than 1.5 trillion kilograms. It destroyed the half-step virtual god's attack as if it was nothing, forcing him to retreat with a punch. In the next instant, Yi Chunfeng summoned the supreme-grade ancestral weapon, Evil Thousand Streams. It transformed into a rolling black river that directly sealed off the entire space, sealing off the half-step virtual god's escape route. The ancestral patriarch of the North Chiu Heavenly Sect is only SOSO. After sealing off the space, Yi Chunfeng summoned his ancestor-level sword soul and locked on to the ancestral patriarch of the North Chiu Heavenly Sect. It seems that you have been plotting against the North Chiu Heavenly Sect for a long time. Sensing that the Evil Thousand Streams had reached the level of a supreme-grade ancestral weapon, the ancestral patriarch of the North Chiu Heavenly Sect became even more serious. He looked for a supreme-grade heavenly halberd that weighed at least 10 billion kilograms and held it in his hand. A supreme-grade ancestral weapon. It seems that the North Chiu Heavenly Sect's status in the heavenly tribe is not low. A supreme-grade ancestral weapon was extremely rare and precious. Only those who had made great contributions to the heavenly tribe could possess it. Cut the crap. How dare you cause trouble in the ancestral land of the North Chiu Heavenly Sect? I'll make sure you don't return. The ancestral patriarch of the North Chiu Heavenly Sect roared and unleashed a shocking force. He held the heavenly halberd in his hand and smashed it down. With one blow, the space was smashed apart by the powerful heavenly halberd. The terrifying force was like a huge mountain that came crashing down, suffocating everyone. Humph, a supreme-grade ancestral weapon gives you so much confidence? Yi Chunfeng snorted and summoned the virtual god Divine Sword, the Divine Sword swallowing heavens, to meet the attack. Boom! The Divine Sword swallowing heavens and the heavenly halberd collided, and the explosive force instantly tore the space apart. However, because the space was sealed by the Evil Thousand Streams, the destructive force caused by the two of them could not be detected by the outside world. Virtual God Divine Weapon, who are you? Feeling the power of the Divine Sword swallowing heavens, the North Chiu Heavenly Sect's patriarch's arm went numb and bloody wounds appeared on his arm. He did not hesitate to merge with the power of the ancestral land to kill Yi Chunfeng. Two primitive embryos, devour the ancestral land. The power of the ancestral land surged into the body of the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch. Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned the two primitive embryos and tore the ground apart. They entered the ancestral land and started devouring frantically. As the two primitive embryos opened up all the acupoints in his body to devour the power, the speed of the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarchs merging with the ancestral land slowed down. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng activated the invincible sword body and continued to attack the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch ferociously, not giving him a chance to call for help. You are an almighty human. During the intense battle, the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch could feel the aura that Yi Chunfeng deliberately emitted and confirmed that he was an almighty human. Godless sword. Yi Chunfeng did not even answer the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch's question. He quickly deduced the 4 ancestral land Tao diagrams and merged more than 3 trillion pounds of power. He stabbed his sword towards the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch, whose expression changed drastically, forcing him to defend with all his might. Chi. When the Void God realm pierced the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Heavenly Halberd that the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Heavenly Sect instinctively blocked in front of him, the sudden burst of power shook the Heavenly Sex Halberd and caused it to go out of control. It ruthlessly smashed into the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch's chest, causing him to retreat step by step. Large amounts of blood spurted out of his mouth. Damn it! Are you from the Kunlun Sacred Ground or the Yuhua Palace? The North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch was seriously injured. He continued to merge with the power of the ancestral veins and continued to increase his strength while shouting loudly, "The North Chiu Heavenly Sect has no enmity with you humans. Why are you here to cause trouble?" "Humph, the North Chiu Heavenly Sect indeed has no enmity with me, but you can only blame yourselves for being the dogs of the Heavenly Sect." Yi Chunfeng snorted coldly and said deliberately, "The Heavenly Sect is trying to annex the various clans. Are we not allowed to retaliate?" As soon as Yi Chunfeng's voice fell, the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch's expression changed. He had a feeling that Yi Chunfeng was not here for the North Chiu Heavenly Sect. Just as the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch was distracted, Yi Chunfeng activated the invincible sword body and used the 1,000 ancestral swords. In an instant, tens of thousands of sword rays were formed and like a rolling sword river, they slashed towards the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch. Heavenly Domain, block. At the critical moment, the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch opened up a powerful heavenly domain, wanting to use the power of the domain to block the 1,000 ancestral sword. However, the attack power of the 1,000 ancestral swords was too terrifying, and it was merged with the power of the Void God artifact Divine Sword swallowing the heavens. Under one attack, the heavenly domain was shattered and the terrifying sword force bombarded the body of the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch, sending him flying. His entire body became a bloody mess. Godless sword. After experiencing the terrifying power of Yi Chunfeng, the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch immediately wanted to crush the communication pearl to report. However, under the detection of the God-eating brain, the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch's every move was under the surveillance of Yi Chunfeng. Before the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch could crush the communication pearl, Yi Chunfeng quickly stabbed out with his sword. Under the amplitude of 50 times the flow of time, Yi Chunfeng's sword almost reached 100 times the speed of light. Under the sword, the right arm of the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch was cut off, preventing him from crushing the communication pearl. Divine Spirit Pagoda, suppress. After cutting off the right arm of the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned the supreme-grade ancestral artifact, Divine Spirit Pagoda, and ruthlessly suppressed the body of the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch, further damaging his body. Soul Search. Under the suppression of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, the North Chiu Heavenly Sex Patriarch could not move. Yi Chenfeng immediately used the power of the God-eating brain to forcibly search the North Chiu heavenly sect's patriarch's soul and memories. No, even if I die, I will not let you have your way. In order to keep the secret, the North Chiu heavenly sect's patriarch wanted to self-destruct. However, under the suppression of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, the flow of ancestral power in his body was extremely slow and he could not ignite the ancestral power in his body to self-destruct. Don't worry, when you are no longer of any use, I will only send you to hell. Yi Chenfeng said faintly as he held the patriarch's head tightly and continued to control the God-eating brain to search the patriarch's soul. So the origin of the heavenly clan is there. After searching the patriarch's soul, Yi Chenfeng finally knew the location of the origin of the heavenly clan. He summoned the Chaos Dharma form and sucked the wailing North Chiu heavenly sect's patriarch dry. He then condensed 3 Chaos Divine fruits and sent him to hell. Chapter 2005. In the morning, the gentle sunlight shone on the North Chiu mountain range, awakening the world to a brand new day. Creak. The door to Zilin's room was pushed open. The young master of the Sky Yuan sect staggered out, his face pale and his eyes dim. His clothes disheveled, he left in humiliation. Sigh, Zilin, how did you torture him last night? I think the young master of the heavenly Yuan sect is going crazy. Yi Chenfeng shook his head and said as he looked at Ling Guangzhu, who was walking out of the room with a refreshed expression and shining eyes. I didn't torture him, I only played games with him last night. Zilin's lips curled into a smile. Looking at Ling Guangzhu's lecherous smile, Yi Chenfeng shook his head and could not help but sympathize with the young master of the heavenly Yuan sect. Such a nightmarish experience was indeed frightening. Oh right, you might have to put on a show with me today. Yi Chenfeng told Zilin about the North Chiu clan's old ancestor's death and discussed with her how to frame Ren Huang. Don't worry, I'll definitely make them run in circles. Zilin patted her chest and promised. While Yi Chenfeng and Zilin were discussing the plan, Qiu Yunchuan accidentally discovered that the life tablet of the North Chiu clan's old ancestor had broken. The entire North Chiu heavenly sect fell into chaos. The North Chiu Patriarch was the backbone of the North Chiu heavenly sect and the guardian of the sect. His death was a disaster for the North Chiu heavenly sect. Without the North Chiu Patriarch, the overall strength of the North Chiu heavenly sect would drop by a few levels. Who infiltrated the North Chiu heavenly sect and killed the old ancestor? Sensing the seriousness of the situation, Qiu Yunchuan immediately ordered people to lock down the entire North Chiu heavenly sect as he tried to figure out the identity of the culprit. After thinking for a while, Qiu Yunchuan felt that all the forces that came to congratulate him were suspicious. Only the true overlord of the heavenly region, the heavenly clan, could be trusted. The reason why Qiu Yunchuan trusted the heavenly clan so much was because the North Chiu heavenly sect had always been dependent on them. More importantly, the North Chiu heavenly sect was also responsible for the protection of the heavenly clan. The heavenly clan would definitely not kill the old ancestor for no reason and weaken the overall strength of the North Chiu heavenly sect. As for Ling Guangzhu and Huang Yichen's identity, he had no doubts at all. After thinking about it, Qiu Yunchuan could only ask the heavenly imperial clan for help to avenge the North Chiu old ancestor. Protect the North Chiu heavenly sect well. No one is allowed to leave without my permission. Qiu Yunchuan, whose face was as gloomy as water, sternly exhorted. Then, he headed to the courtyard at the edge of the cliff to pay a visit to Yi Chenfeng. Ling Guangzhu Yichen, I have an important matter to discuss with you. Qiu Yunchuan stood outside the courtyard and anxiously said. Sect leader Qiu, what happened? Zilin imitated Ling Guangzhu's voice and transmitted it from the courtyard. Come in. Ling Guangzhu Yichen, something big has happened to the North Chiu heavenly sect. Qiu Yunchuan activated the soundproof barrier in the courtyard and told them about the incident. Brother North Chiu is dead. Ling Guangzu frowned. When did this happen? It should have happened last night. Qiu Yunchuan clenched his fists. Last night. Ling Guangzu pondered for a moment and said, other than us, how many other forces came to the North Qiu heavenly sect yesterday? A total of 5 forces came yesterday. However, these 5 forces have always been on good terms with the North Qiu heavenly sect. Furthermore, their overall strength is far inferior to the North Qiu heavenly sect. I really can't think of who the murderer is. Qiu Yunchuan explained in detail. Sect leader Qiu, you are wrong. Yi Chenfeng added, the North Qiu senior is a half-step to empty God. The person who has the ability to kill a half-step to empty God right under our noses is most likely a real empty God. Therefore, it is highly possible that he has disguised himself and is hiding among the various forces. That's right, Yi Chen's analysis is correct. Zi Lin and Yi Chenfeng echoed, Sect Leader Qiu, may I know where Brother North Qiu was killed? Can you bring us to take a look and see if there are any clues? The chief elder has been guarding the ancestral veins of the North Qiu heavenly sect. He should have been killed there. Qiu Yunchuan said. Let's go and take a look at the ancestral veins. Let's see if we can find any valuable clues? Zi Lin suggested and followed Qiu Yunchuan, who was in a mess, to the ancestral veins of the North Qiu heavenly sect. After being devoured by the 2 primitive embryos, the ancestral veins of the North Qiu heavenly sect had almost withered. The lush spiritual trees and spiritual plants had long withered and the entire ancestral veins was lifeless. Damn it! Who the hell did this? Looking at the scene in front of him, Qiu Yunchuan could only feel his heart bleeding. If he knew that something like this would happen, he would never have invited the various forces to hold a celebration at the North Qiu heavenly sect. There is something wrong with these sword marks. Zi Lin walked to the side of a sword mark so deep that she couldn't see the bottom. She pretended to study it. Ling Guangzu, what did you find? Qiu Yunchuan immediately walked over and asked. If I am not wrong, these sword marks are most likely left by a virtual god weapon. Zi Lin pointed at the deep sword marks and said, Virtual god weapon. Qiu Yunchuan stared and said, Ling Guangzu, are you sure that these sword marks were left by a virtual god weapon? In the entire void god world, there were not many virtual god weapons. Almost all of them were in the hands of the various clans. If it was confirmed that these sword marks were left by a virtual god weapon, then the identity of the murderer could be narrowed down to a certain extent. Sect Leader Qiu, you can use your soul power to sense it. There is still the aura of a virtual god weapon left in these sword marks. Zi Lin said casually, I am sure that these sword marks were left by the virtual god sword. The murderer could only have such a powerful treasure to be able to kill the North Qiu heavenly sect without anyone knowing. Old ancestor, if I am not wrong, the human sovereign's sword is a virtual god weapon. Yi Chenfeng added. That's right, the human sovereign's sword is a virtual god weapon. Zi Lin nodded and said, however, I heard that the human sovereign and Yu Huashan are in seclusion. Seclusion? Yi Chenfeng frowned slightly and said, the human sovereign and Yu Huashan said that they are in seclusion. However, we are not sure if they are really in seclusion. The human sovereign. Qiu Yunchuan fell into deep thought and said, Old ancestor, Yi Chen, if it is really the human sovereign, what do you think he is planning? The origin of the divine clan. Yi Chenfeng and Zi Lin said in unison. Oh right, not long ago, the clan leader of the Tai-Shin clan fought with the human sovereign. Although the human sovereign killed the clan leader of the Tai-Shin clan, he was also injured. Do you think the human sovereign accidentally found out that the origin of the divine clan was here and wanted to take it for himself? This way, he can take revenge on the divine clan. Secondly, he can refine the origin of the divine clan and have the opportunity to improve his strength. Yi Chenfeng said patiently. Yi Chen, your analysis is very reasonable. Zi Lin said with certainty. Now it seems that the murderer is most likely the human sovereign. Human sovereign. Chiu Yunchuan felt that his mind was in a mess. Old ancestor, Yichen, if the murderer is really the human sovereign, what do you think we should do? Chiu Yunchuan was influenced by Yi Chunfeng and Zi Lin's words and subconsciously accepted this analysis. If I am not wrong, the human sovereign should still be hiding in the North Chiu heavenly sect. Therefore, we have to do two things now. Zi Lin said. First, you tell the Imperial Clan and the Divine Clan what happened here and our analysis. Yichen and I will go to the origin of the Divine Clan to guard it. But if it is really the human sovereign, then I am afraid we are no match for him. The human sovereign was the strongest person in the human race. Chiu Yunchuan was not confident in facing him. Don't worry about this. We have the external incarnation given to us by the Imperial Clan leader. With our protection, the human sovereign will not succeed. Zilin patted her chest and said, Okay, then I will leave everything to you. Chapter 2006. By the way, sect leader Chiu, who's the guardian of the divine tribe's origin now? On the way to the divine tribe's origin, Yi Chunfeng wanted to get more valuable information from Chiu Yunchuan. It's still virtual God Zhenlei, Chiu Yunchuan said. Virtual God Zhenlei. Knowing that there was only one virtual god guarding the divine tribe's origin, Yi Chunfeng was completely relieved. With the power he had, he could easily control virtual God Zhenlei. We're here. The divine tribe's origin is inside this seal. The responsibility of guarding the origin will be entrusted to the ancestor, young Master Yichen. Chiu Yunchuan trusted Yi Chunfeng and Zi Lin without a doubt. He left the two of them under the seal outside the origin and asked them to guard it. Don't worry, with the Grand Emperor Clan's avatar and virtual god Zhenlei, we'll definitely be able to protect the divine tribe's origin. Zilin patted her chest and promised. Sect leader Chiu, the death of the North Chiu ancestor is not a trivial matter. Try to keep it a secret. If the outside world knows about the ancestor's death, it'll most likely bring about a devastating disaster to the North Chiu heavenly sect. Also, sect leader Chiu, contact the clan as soon as possible and ask them to send experts over. Yi Chunfeng reminded him out of kindness. Don't worry, young Master Yichen, I know what to do. After saying that, Chiu Yunchuan left with a heavy heart. Yi Chunfeng, what do you think of my acting just now? Chiu Yunchuan, who was still in the dark, left. Zi Lin smiled and glanced at Yi Chunfeng with a charming look. However, as Zi Lin had transformed into Ling Guangzhu's appearance, Ling Guangzhu's glance gave Yi Chunfeng goosebumps all over his body. This is only the first step. We'll talk about it after we control virtual god Zhenlei. Yi Chunfeng still had 3 soul devourer's child brains that he had retrieved from the Duhan continent. He planned to use these 3 child brains to control virtual god Zhenlei. If everything went well, it would be much easier to shift the blame to Ren Huang. Space Swallower, break the seal. Taking advantage of Chiu Yunchuan's confused state of mind, Yi Chunfeng summoned the space-swallowing bug, allowing it to quickly devour the spatial restrictions and enter the origin of the Tian clan. Although the restrictions outside the Tian clan's origin were extremely powerful, for the space-swallowing insect, it was not difficult at all. In less than an hour, the space swallower's sharp teeth bit through a gap in the seal, allowing Yi Chunfeng and Zi Lin to enter. Who are you? What are you doing here? When Yi Chunfeng and Zi Lin entered the mysterious space filled with the power of the heavens, they immediately alarmed the void god Zhenlei, who had been guarding this place for countless years. A deep voice resounded in Yi Chunfeng and Zi Lin's ears. Void god Zhenlei, it's me. Ling Guang. Zi Lin imitated Ling Guangzhu's voice. Ling Guang. Void god Zhenlei was the void god of the Imperial Clan and was an old acquaintance of Ling Guangzhu. Upon hearing Ling Guangzhu's voice, a crack appeared on the hard ground. Void god Zhenlei, who was wearing a linen robe and had snow-white hair casually draped over his shoulders, appeared. His eyes were like stars that shot out tens of thousands of rays of light, and his body was surrounded by lightning. Lingguang, don't you know that this place is a forbidden area? With your status, you are not allowed to enter. Void God Zhen Lei stared at Yi Chunfeng and Lingguang Zhu, his voice as loud as thunder. Of course, I know this rule, but there is a reason for this, so I have to come. Lingguang Zhu sighed softly and simply explained the incident of the North Zhou clan's ancestor being killed. The North Zhou clan is dead. Void God Zhen Lei frowned. Do you know who the murderer is? According to our analysis, the murderer is most likely the strongest person in the human race, the human emperor, Zilin said. Impossible. I know the human emperor, he would never do such a disgraceful thing. Void God Zhen Lei shook his head. Void God Zhen Lei, you have been guarding this place for countless years and know too little about the outside world. Zilin shook her head and said, the divine clan and the human race have already fallen out. The human emperor killed the avatar of the supreme god clan leader. After listening to Zilin, Void God Zhen Lei frowned even more. Supreme God Heaven had refined a total of 3 avatars. Now that one of the avatars had been destroyed by the human emperor, it had a significant impact on the strength of Supreme God Heaven. Alright, I got it. You can leave now, but don't worry, with me guarding this place, even if the human emperor comes personally, it will be useless. Void God Zhen Lei did not want Yi Chunfeng and Zilin to stay here for too long and was ready to let them leave. Void God Zhen Lei, I think it's better for us to guard this place together. Zilin said, according to our analysis, the human emperor brought the human emperor's sword. I think only the avatar of the supreme god clan leader can fight against him. You have the avatar of the supreme god clan leader? Void God Zhen Lei asked in surprise. Although Supreme Emperor Heaven's strength was exceedingly high, every time he refined an avatar, it required a lot of effort and time. He rarely gave them to his clansmen. Yes, we have the avatar of the clan leader, which is why we have the confidence to guard this place. Zilin nodded. Can you let me see the avatar of the clan leader? Thinking of Ling Guangzhu and Huang Yichen's identities, Supreme Emperor Heaven would never give them an avatar without a special reason. Void God Zhen Lei began to doubt their identities. Of course. Yi Chunfeng nodded and slowly walked toward Void God Zhen Lei with a Qianquan ring in his hand. The avatar of the clan leader is in this Qianquan ring. The Grand Ancestor will know if we are lying to you. Yi Chunfeng handed the Qianquan ring to Void God Zhen Lei. Just as Void God Zhen Lei took the Qianquan ring, it suddenly exploded. The next moment, Yi Chunfeng took advantage of the fact that Void God Tremor Thunder's attention was focused on the exploding universe ring. He instantly ignited his primordial blood, activated his invincible sword physique, and summoned the Universal Origin Sword, slashing at Void God Tremor Thunder at close range. Sensing danger, Void God Zhen Lei instinctively tried to dodge, but Yi Chunfeng's sword had been infused with the law of time acceleration, so its speed was unimaginably fast. Swish! Void God Zhen Lei's body was struck by the myriad origin sword. The refined sword light instantly broke through his body's defenses and slashed him fiercely, leaving a deep sword wound on his body. A large amount of blood spurted out uncontrollably. You! Who are you people? Void God Zhen Lei shouted angrily as he retreated quickly. Then, he glared at Yi Chunfeng and the other man. We are the human emperor's subordinates, here to destroy you. With that, Yi Chunfeng summoned Shen Daoxiu, Shen Yogu, an evil god from the universe mirror, preparing to suppress Void God Zhen Lei at lightning speed. Shen Daoxiu, Shen Yogu, it's you. You're actually still alive. As a void god of the Imperial Celestial Tribe, Void God Zhen Lei recognized Shen Daoxiu and Zilin. Seeing them appear, his heart was in turmoil. The Celestial Tribe hasn't been destroyed, and we haven't taken our revenge. How can we die? Shun Daoshu replied domineeringly, unleashing his celestial demon aspect and launching a ferocious attack at Void God Jun Lei. When Shun Daoshu attacked with all his might, Shun Yogu and Evil God attacked at the same time, suppressing Void God Jun Lei. Evil God was a mid-level Void God, and his strength far surpassed Void God Jun Lei's. In addition, Void God Jun Lei had just been injured by the Universal Origin Sword, so he could not withstand Evil God and the other two's ferocious attack. Origin energy, fuse with my body. Void God Jun Lei's attack was instantly suppressed, and his injuries were worsening. He continued to fuse with Heaven Origin energy, increasing his strength to resist with all his might. Chaos Aspect, Divine Wood, suppress the Origin. Sensing the surging Heaven Origin energy fusing with Void God Jun Lei's body, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned his low-level Void God Chaos Aspect, which turned into a towering 5-colored Divine Wood. It took root in the Heaven Origin and forcefully suppressed it. Evil God, Senior Yogu, take this. While the Chaos Aspect was suppressing the Heaven Origin, Yi Chunfeng controlled Evil Shura Thousand Streams and the 10 ancient ancestral flags to seal the entire space. He summoned the 2 Void God swords and lent them to Evil God and Shin Yogu. No. Void God Jun Lei despaired when he saw the 2 Void God swords in Evil God and Shin Yogu's hands. He wanted to use his trump card to escape. However, Void God Jun Lei had no chance of escaping under the 3's territory and the 2 Void God swords attacked. In the blink of an eye, his body was cut open by the 2 Void God sword. Undefeated heavenly technique. Void God Jun Lei's desire to live was aroused when his body was cut open. He burned his immortal bloodline to reconstruct his body. However, the Void God sword's power was unimaginable. They constantly depleted his immortal bloodline, causing his injuries to worsen. He could not reconstruct his body. Soul Eater Brain, Control. Chapter 2007. No, what's this? Virtual God Jun Lei, who was trying his best to rebuild his body after being devoured by the 2 Soul Eaters, roared in despair and attacked the 2 Soul Eaters desperately. However, under the suppression of the 3 virtual gods, Virtual God Jun Lei's resistance became weaker and weaker. The surging heavenly origin energy in his body was suppressed and could not pose a threat or harm to the 2 Soul Eaters. Slowly, the Soul Eaters eroded Virtual God Jun Lei's consciousness and he gradually lost himself. Not bad, not bad. The 2 Soul Eaters can still control a Virtual God. Sensing that Virtual God Jun Lei's severely injured soul could not withstand the erosion of the 2 Soul Eaters, Yi Chunfeng heaved a sigh of relief. With a thought, he put Virtual God Jun Lei into the Qiankuan realm. Seniors, please protect me. I want to devour the heavenly origin energy and break through to the half-step Virtual God level. As the situation in the Virtual God realm became more complicated, Yi Chunfeng clearly felt that his strength was insufficient. If he could break through to the half-step Virtual God level and ignite the primordial bloodline, integrate the God's heart and chaotic dharma, he could definitely fight against a mid-level Virtual God. Yi Chunfeng, can I absorb the heavenly origin energy here to cultivate? Zilin blinked and asked with a face full of desire. She knew the benefits of cultivating in the divine tribe's origin. She had a chance to break through to the half-step Virtual God level here. Since you've done well this time, you can cultivate here with me. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng took out 2 Chaos Divine Fruits that contained half-territory intent and gave them to the excited Zilin. He also summoned Ancestor Fa Tian, the Chaos Divine Beast, the Peacock King, Xiaowen Dai, the Spiritual Fish, and the others who were stuck at the peak of progenitor level so that they could devour the heavenly origin energy and break through to a higher level. Slaughter origin energy, merge. Yi Chunfeng opened all the acupuncture points in his body. When he was devouring the heavenly origin energy, he took out the remaining 5 slaughter origin energy and merged them into his body to break through to the half-step Virtual God level. Just as Yi Chunfeng and the others suppressed virtual God Jun Lei and devoured the heavenly origin energy to cultivate, the entire North Chiu heavenly sect fell into chaos. With the death of the North Chiu clan's old ancestor, Chiu Yunchuan was no longer in the mood to hold a celebration. When he told the Heavenly Imperial clan about what happened in the North Chiu heavenly sect, it caused quite a commotion. The source of the Heaven clan was extremely important to the Heaven clan, and they could not afford to lose it. Once the source of the Heaven clan was destroyed, it would directly affect the terrifying ancestral vein of the Heaven Imperial clan, greatly affecting the foundation of the Heaven Imperial clan. Yunchuan, are you sure that the Emperor has something to do with the North Chiu kingdom's death? The great elder of the Imperial clan asked softly through the communication array. These are all Ling Guangzhu and young Master Yichen's guesses. They found traces of the Void God's sword at the place where the old ancestor died. Chiu Yunchuan reported. Then what about Ling Guangzhu and Yichen? Why didn't they send me a message? Great Elder pondered for a moment, feeling suspicious. Ling Guangzhu and young Master Yichen said that they have the Imperial Sky Clan leader's external incarnation and took the initiative to request to guard the Heaven Clan's origin. Chiu Yunchuan said. Idiot, you've been fooled. The great elder of the Imperial clan suddenly changed his expression. If I'm not wrong, the two of them are the real murderers of the North Chiu kingdom. This is impossible. Chiu Yunchuan's eyes widened and he was dumbfounded. The clan leader's external incarnation is so precious, why would he give it to Ling Guangzhu and Yichen? They must be deliberately fooling you by saying this, so that they can get closer to the Heaven clan's origin. The great elder of the Imperial clan analyzed. Then, Great Elder, what should I do now? Chiu Yunchuan was a little confused and said helplessly. Quickly seal off the North Chiu kingdom's heavenly sect and inform Void God Jun Lei to be careful. With Void God Jun Lei around, they should not have the chance to destroy our Heaven clan's origin in a short time. The great elder of the Imperial clan ordered, as long as we can delay for 3 days, our Void God Jun Lei will be able to rush over. Okay, that's the only way. Chiu Yunchuan nodded mechanically, took out his communication bead, and sent a message to Void God Jun Lei. However, Void God Jun Lei had long been suppressed, and Chiu Yunchuan could not contact him at all. The murderers are really them. Unable to contact Void God Jun Lei, Chiu Yunchuan felt the seriousness of the situation, and once again contacted the great elder of the Imperial clan and told him the situation. Gather all the forces and go to the origin. No matter the price, we must protect the origin. The great elder of the Imperial clan gave a desperate order. Yes. Chiu Yunchuan did not know what kind of great enemy he was facing, but at this moment, he knew that he had no choice. Once something happened to the Heaven clan's origin that they had guarded for countless years, the Imperial clan would definitely kill him. Who are you? Why are you causing trouble in the North Chiu kingdom's heavenly sect? Chiu Yunchuan gathered the North Chiu kingdom's heavenly sect, the demon clan, and other forces. When he arrived at the Heaven clan's origin, he found Shen Daoshu guarding outside the seal and disguised his identity. Anyone who comes close will die. Shen Daoshu, who was sitting on the ground, opened his eyes tightly shut. A golden dragon broke out of his body, opened its bloody mouth, and attacked Chiu Yunchuan and the others. Could this be the supreme Abhijna of the Kunlun sacred ground, the 9 dragons break? After being attacked by a golden dragon, many heavenly clan and demon clan experts who had lived for hundreds of thousands of years recognized that this move was most likely the Kunlun sacred ground's 9 dragons break. They began to doubt Shen Daoshu's identity. Boom! The dragon crashed down, and the entire ground shook violently. In the blink of an eye, dozens of heavenly clan and demon clan experts fell, dying on the spot. Sect leader, this person is most likely the Void God Realm expert of the Kunlun sacred ground. We are definitely not his match. Continuing to approach is no different from suicide. The great elder of the North Chiu Kingdom's heavenly sect appeared beside Chiu Yunchuan, who had retreated thousands of meters away, and said in a serious voice, "Everyone, quickly take action and seal this place. Wait for the void god of the imperial clan to arrive." Chiu Yunchuan gritted his teeth and decisively sent a voice transmission. Very quickly, layers upon layers of array formations appeared in the air, sealing off the space around the Tian clan's origin. Death God, Half-Step Demon God, War Demon, Senior Candle Dragon, quickly come out and devour the Heaven clan's origin. Since his identity had been exposed, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned Death God and the rest of the half-step virtual gods, as well as the divine demon Candle Dragon. He then ordered the two primitive embryos and chaotic Dharma power to devour the Heaven clan's origin. Under everyone's combined efforts, the energy in the Heaven clan's origin decreased rapidly. The precious ancient trees and spiritual herbs that grew in the origin withered rapidly. Space Swallower, quickly devour the wormhole. Since his identity had been exposed, Yi Chunfeng guessed that the Imperial clan would definitely send void gods over. At this point, he did not want to have a direct confrontation with the void gods of the Heavenly clan. Immediately, he ordered the Space Swallower to devour the wormhole. Time passed day by day. Yi Chunfeng and the rest devoured the Heaven clan's origin and devoured 1/10 of the origin energy in the Heaven clan's origin. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng's remnant soul outside sensed 3 terrifying auras descending upon the North Chiu mountain range. He guessed that the void gods of the Heavenly clan had arrived. Everyone, quickly attack with me and destroy the Heaven clan's origin. When the void gods of the Heavenly clan appeared, Yi Chunfeng immediately woke everyone up. He summoned the void gods back and attacked the Heaven clan's origin with all his might. The Heaven clan's origin had already been devoured by Yi Chunfeng and the rest. Now that it was attacked by everyone, it immediately suffered a destructive blow. There were faint signs of it exploding. Seeing the Heaven clan's origin explode, Yi Chunfeng took out a large number of destruction crystals and threw them into the Heaven clan's origin. At this moment, the 3 void gods appeared. Just as they tore open the seal outside the Heaven clan's origin and captured Yi Chunfeng and the rest, Yi Chunfeng detonated all the destruction crystals in the Heaven clan's origin and entered the Qiankuan realm. He flew into the wormhole that the Space Swallower had created. Boom, boom, boom. Earth-shattering explosions rang out. Chapter 2008. The Demon Sea City was one of the biggest cities in the Demon Tribe's territory. It was located in the northwest of the Demon Realm, close to the Demon Sea. The people in the city were tough and bloodshed could happen at any time. After successfully destroying the source of the celestial race, Yi Chunfeng spent nearly half a month to arrive outside the Devil Sea City of the Devil Realm. Qingfeng, do you think the explosion of the origin of the Divine Tribe could kill the empty gods of the Divine Tribe? Zilin asked through telepathy. She was about to break through to the half-step empty god realm, but was interrupted by the empty gods of the Divine Tribe. It's difficult. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said, "It's not easy to kill an empty god. However, I think the North Chiu Heavenly Sect is done for." Alright, don't regret it. The origin of the Demon Tribe is hidden near the Demon Sea City. As long as we find it, we'll definitely help you break through to the half-step empty god realm. Really? Zilin's eyes lit up. Let's go. We'll enter the city and find out where the origin of the Demon Tribe is. With the previous example, Yi Chunfeng was prepared to seal off all information after finding the origin of the Demon Tribe. He would then devour the origin of the Demon Tribe and step into the half-step empty god realm. War Demon, do you know anything about this place? Yi Chunfeng had limited knowledge of the Demon Tribe. He summoned the War Demon in a secluded place. This is the Demon Sea City, a big city in the Demon Tribe. I've been here a few times. The War Demon said. Do you know where the origin of the Demon Tribe is hidden in the Demon Sea City? Yi Chunfeng asked. I don't know. I didn't know that the origin of the demon tribe was hidden nearby. The war demon shook his head and said, however, if the origin of the demon tribe is nearby, it must be hidden in the demon sea. That's the best place to hide. Just as I thought, the origin of the demon tribe should be hidden in the demon sea. However, it's not easy to find it. The demon sea was too big, and the origin of the demon tribe was very important to them. They would definitely try their best to hide it. If they could not determine the exact location of the origin, it would be too difficult to find it slowly. Let's go, we'll take a stroll in the city and look for some ancient books about the history of Demon Sea City. Maybe we'll have some unexpected gains. After saying that, Yi Chenfeng's group of 3 walked into the city. After asking around, they arrived at the biggest antique shop in the Devil Sea City, intending to rent ancient books. However, there weren't many ancient books in the antique shop. Yi Chenfeng and the other 2 couldn't find anything even after browsing for an entire afternoon. Just as Yi Chenfeng and the other 2 were about to leave regretfully, they unexpectedly found out from the shop owner that the Sidhu family's old master loved to collect ancient books. There were more than 100,000 ancient books in his house. However, old Master Sidhu had recently contracted a strange illness and was on the verge of death. If he could save old Master Sidhu's life, he would have the opportunity to see the ancient books that he had collected. Let's go to the Sidhu family estate. After finding out the location of the Sidhu family, Yi Chenfeng and the other 2 concealed their auras and immediately headed to the Sidhu family to treat the Sidhu family patriarch. Stop. This is the Sidhu family estate. Outsiders are not allowed to come near. When Yi Chenfeng and the other 2 arrived outside the Sidhu family estate, a guard in black armor who was guarding the gate cautiously and conscientiously berated them. We are here to treat old Master Sidhu's injuries, Yi Chenfeng said indifferently with his hands behind his back. You are doctors? The black-armored guard sized up Yi Chenfeng and the other 2 and asked in a low voice. Yes. Yi Chenfeng nodded and said, Then, do you have a doctor's badge? How many stars are you? The black-armored guard's sharp gaze softened a lot. I am a 9-star doctor, Yi Chenfeng said casually. 9-star doctor. The 4 black-armored guards' gazes instantly changed. A 9-star doctor was the highest-ranking doctor in the Void God world. They were rarely seen, and their status was even higher. With the Sidhu family's influence, it was impossible to invite them. All right, don't waste time. Quickly let us in, Yi Chenfeng said impatiently. But, what buts? If you continue to obstruct us and delay the treatment of the old master, I will hold you responsible. Yi Chenfeng showed his domineering side. Yes, please come in. The 4 black-armored guards quickly communicated with each other through voice transmission. They did not dare to obstruct Yi Chenfeng and the other 2 anymore and invited them into the Sidhu family estate. What a strong smell of holy grass! After entering the Sidhu family estate, Yi Chenfeng immediately smelled the strong smell of holy grass in the air. Under the guidance of a black-armored guard, Yi Chenfeng and the other 2 arrived at the main hall. They saw 6 old men in doctor's robes with badges pinned to their chests. They were discussing the illness with a middle-aged man in a black robe. Family head, this self-proclaimed 9-star doctor is here to treat the old master. The black-armored guard stepped forward and reported respectfully. What? A 9-star doctor? After hearing the black-armored guard's report, everyone's eyes were cast on Yi Chenfeng. Looking at his young face, they all revealed a questioning look. Do you have a 9-star doctor's badge? An old man in a white doctor's robe, with a long white beard and a 6-star doctor's badge pinned to his chest, sized up Yi Chenfeng and asked. Yes, but I didn't bring it with me, Yi Chenfeng said calmly. Nonsense. If you are a 9-star doctor, how could you not bring your badge with you? The 6-star doctor's face darkened as he scolded loudly. That's right. Elder who is right. These 3 are obviously liars. Family head Sidhu, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and take the 3 of them down. The doctors, who thought they were extraordinary, scolded loudly. Only frogs at the bottom of a well, like you would always wear your doctor's badge. Yi Chunfeng snorted coldly and said sarcastically. Presumptuous! How dare you mock us? Elder Hu and the others said angrily. Why, do you think I'm wrong? Yi Chunfeng said without backing down. Then let me ask you. Since the Sidhu family invited you here to treat the old family head, how confident are you that you can pull him back from the gates of hell? Upon hearing Yi Chunfeng's question, Elder Hu and the others fell silent. A bunch of trash! Yi Chunfeng reprimanded them without holding back. Since you don't have the confidence to pull the old family head out of the gates of hell, why are you still here? Are you trying to cheat me? You! Don't you dare slander us! Elder Hu glared at Yi Chunfeng and said, How confident are you that you can cure the old family head? 100%. Yi Chunfeng said confidently. T. How dare you say 100% when you haven't even seen him? I think you're here to make trouble. Elder Hu did not believe Yi Chunfeng's words at all and scolded loudly. Why don't we make a bet? If I can cure the old family head, the 6 of you will kowtow to me 10 times. How about that? If I can't cure him, you can do whatever you want with him. Yi Chunfeng said intentionally. All right, we'll bet with you. Elder Hu and the others said in unison. The Sidhu family head's face turned gloomy as he looked at the people who used his father as a bet and did not take him seriously at all. If he did not have a favor to ask of them, he would not have been able to control the anger in his heart and would have killed them. The Sidhu family head looked at Yi Chunfeng, who had a calm expression, and asked in a low voice, Are you really confident that you can cure my father? Take me to him. There's no one in this world that I can't cure. Yi Chunfeng said arrogantly. All right, if you can really cure my father, I'll definitely reward you generously. However, if there's an accident, don't blame me for being rude. The old family head's life was hanging by a thread, and the doctors he hired were helpless. In addition, Yi Chunfeng was arrogant. In desperation, the Sidhu family head could only try his best and decided to let Yi Chunfeng give it a try. Let's go. Take me to him. Yi Chunfeng said faintly. By the way, keep an eye on the 6 of them. Don't let them run away. Chapter 2009. All right, Sidhu clan head, leave your father to us. I promise to return you a healthy father. Yi Chunfeng said nonchalantly as he looked at the dying Sidhu clan head from afar. Are you really that confident? The Sidhu clan head increasingly felt that Yi Chunfeng was a liar. Ordinary doctors would only dare to boast after a thorough examination. They would never dare to speak like Yi Chunfeng just by looking. Sidhu clan head, if you don't believe me, you can wait outside. You'll know in a while. Yi Chunfeng said with a nod. All right, then I'll leave everything to you. After some hesitation, the Sidhu clan head chose to believe Yi Chunfeng and waited outside the house. War demon, guard this place well. Without my permission, no one is to disturb me. Yi Chunfeng instructed and activated the soundproof restriction. He walked over to the unconscious Sidhu clan head, who had 1 foot in the grave. He controlled the God-Eater brain to quickly deduce and examine the Sidhu clan head's body. Your body is fine. Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to examine the Sidhu clan head's body carefully. He was surprised to find that there was nothing wrong with the Sidhu clan head's body. Could the problem be from the soul? After pondering for a while, Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to penetrate the Sidhu clan head's soul sea. Although it was difficult to explore the soul, Yi Chunfeng could still vaguely sense the problem with the God-Eater brain's senses. This is the soul goo. After the God-Eater brain's senses, Yi Chunfeng discovered that there was an almost extinct soul goo hidden in the Sidhu clan head's soul sea. So, you're the culprit. After discovering the culprit, Yi Chunfeng immediately thought of a way to get the soul goo out of the Sidhu clan head's soul sea. The soul goo's child brain. After pondering for a while, Yi Chunfeng took out the last child brain and entered the Sidu clan head's soul sea through his 7 orifices. He attacked the soul goo hidden in the depths of the Situ clan head's soul. Sensing the danger in Soul Devourer's head, the soul goo that had devoured a large amount of life force and souls immediately became restless and wanted to escape. However, the Brain Devourer was its nemesis. It completely sealed off its path of retreat, leaving it nowhere to hide. In the end, it was devoured by the Brain Devourer. Collect. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng took away the Soul Devourer's brain from old clan leader Sidu's soul sea, obtaining this extremely precious soul goo that could directly attack one's soul. Pearl of Life, Restore. After eliminating the hidden danger, Yi Chunfeng summoned the spiritual Pearl of Life and embedded it in the Situ clan master's forehead. A large amount of life force poured down, restoring the Situ clan master's weakened vitality and body. Your method of recovering life force is too slow. Leave it to me. Zilin, who was standing guard at the side, said bravely. All right. Yi Chunfeng knew that Zilin had many shocking methods. He nodded and put away the bead of life. He stood to the side and watched in silence as Zilin treated him. But in the next moment, Yi Chunfeng's expression became somewhat unnatural. He realized that Zilin had taken off the Situ clan master's pants. Zilin, don't tell me you're interested in the old man too? If you are, we can leave for a while. Yi Chunfeng's eyelids twitched violently as he said somewhat speechlessly. You're the one who's interested in the old man. I'm preparing to stimulate his potential and awaken his vitality. Zilin rolled her eyes at Yi Chunfeng. Then, she took out thin and long silver needles and pierced them into the Sidu clan master's manhood. Seeing that Zilin had pierced the Sidu clan master's lower body into a cactus, Yi Chunfeng showed a sympathetic expression. Then, Zilin took out a porcelain bottle and poured out a large amount of pink spiritual liquid. She dripped it onto the thin and long silver needles and let it flow along the silver needles into the Sidu clan master's body. Spring. Medicine. Yi Chunfeng's eyes were extremely sharp. He could tell at a glance that the pink spiritual liquid was an aphrodisiac. He immediately thought of the 7 ultimate patriarchs. Back then, he had also used this method to awaken the declining vitality of the 7 ultimate patriarchs. After a while, the Situ clan master's body heated up and he woke up from his coma. You. Who are you? What are you doing? The moment the Situ clan master opened his eyes, a raging fire ignited in his heart. He saw an old man groping around his crotch, and his manhood had been pierced into a cactus. He immediately felt his scalp go numb, and he roared angrily. What are you shouting for? Are you trying to scare me to death? Zilin raised her head and glared at the Situ clan master. She said, I'm treating you. As he spoke, he touched the Situ clan master left and right. The Situ clan master had goosebumps all over his body and was on the verge of going crazy. Stop! Stop it! Stop it! The Situ clan master had never been humiliated like this before. He was being taken advantage of by an old man and had even fused with a large amount of aphrodisiac. The aphrodisiac caused his entire body to heat up and he was on the verge of collapse. Don't worry. It'll be fine in a while. Zilin released a powerful ancestral power to suppress the Situ clan master, who was going crazy. She continued to use her own method to stimulate his vitality. Forget it. Forget it. Unable to break free from Zilin's suppression, the Situ clan master was in despair. He could only refine the aphrodisiac in his body with all his might. Aphrodisiac. However, as Zilin's actions became more and more excessive, 2 lines of tears of humiliation flowed out from the corners of his eyes. All right, it's about time. Zilin suddenly turned around and slapped the Situ clan master's buttocks hard, leaving a bright red palm print and sending the silver needles flying. You, without the suppression, the Situ clan master, who was on the verge of collapse, immediately sat up. He wished he could strangle Zilin, who had humiliated him in every possible way, to death. Hey, what's with the look in your eyes? Is that how you look at your savior? Zilin said with some dissatisfaction. You're not a young man or a young lady. What's there to be shy about? Do you really think I'm willing to touch you? Once I touch you, I'll peel off a layer of skin. Seeing that the Situ clan master was so infuriated by Zilin that he vomited blood, Yi Chunfeng shook his head and turned off the soundproof restriction. He opened the door and called the Situ clan master, who was guarding outside, in. Fortunately, I didn't let you down. The Situ clan master is fine now, Yi Chunfeng said indifferently. It's true. The Situ clan master was overjoyed. He quickly walked in and came to the side of the Situ clan master, whose face was ashen and body was trembling. Father, you're really fine now. Sensing that the Situ clan master's weak flame of life was getting stronger and his shriveled body was recovering its color, the Situ clan master let out a long sigh of relief and said excitedly, I'm basically fine now. Although Zilin's treatment method made him suffer endless humiliation, the Situ clan master, who had calmed down, could no longer be angry. He wanted to keep the secret just now. Otherwise, if word got out, he would be too ashamed to continue living. The Situ clan master let out a long sigh of relief and thanked them from the bottom of his heart. He no longer suspected Yi Chunfeng and the other two. That's great. Thank you for saving me. Situ clan master, there's something I need to remind you of. Be careful of your enemies, especially those who are proficient in witchcraft. Yi Chunfeng said indifferently. Doctor, you mean? I found the soul goo in the old clan master's soul sea earlier. Yi Chunfeng said, as far as I know, the soul goo has been extinct for a long time. Very few people have the soul goo. If the Situ clan master wants to find the culprit, you can start from there. Soul goo, the Situ clan master and the other two's expressions changed immediately. Thank you for telling me, Doctor. The Situ clan master said gratefully. I wonder what the three of you are looking for. As long as the Situ clan can provide it, I'll definitely give it to the three of you. There's no need for that. We're just here to look at the ancient books that the old clan master has collected over the years. Yi Chunfeng said while shaking his head. Ancient books? The Situ clan master was surprised. That's right. I want to look for some information. I heard that the old clan master has collected more than 100,000 ancient books, so I wanted to take a look. Yi Chunfeng said while nodding. Alright, the ancient books that I collected are all in the library. The three of you can go to the library to read at any time. The Situ clan master said happily. Thank you. Chapter 2010. Oh, they gave up so quickly? So what if they don't give up? Do they really think that they are 9-star doctors? Looking at Yi Chunfeng and the other two, who had returned to the main hall in less than 2 hours, Elder Hu and the others did not believe that they had cured the Situ family head so quickly. They began to mock and ridicule him. I'm sorry to disappoint you. The Situ family head is fine now. Just wait to kowtow to me 10 times. Yi Chunfeng sat quietly in an armchair and poured himself a cup of spirit tea. He took a sip and said, Don't worry about it. Haha, aren't you afraid of biting your tongue when you talk big? The respected elder Hu laughed and said, If you can cure the Situ family head, before Elder Hu could finish his words, he saw 2 familiar figures slowly walking in. His mocking words were stuck in his throat. His old face flushed red and he was dumbfounded. What about me? If I can cure the Situ family head, what will you do? Yi Chunfeng put down the teacup in his hand and said with a faint smile. Situ family head, he really cured you. The doctors with extraordinary skills widened their eyes and said in disbelief. One had to know that the 6 of them had tried everything they could think of, but were still unable to cure the Situ family head. Yet, Yi Chunfeng had only used less than 2 hours to cure him. Could he really be a 9-star doctor? The 6 doctors had an incredible thought in their minds. Yes, the 3 doctors have amazing skills. They cured I. The Situ family head nodded and said, However, when he thought of the treatment process, the corners of his eyes could not help but twitch wildly. The unbearable memories were driving him crazy. He wanted to cut Zilin into 1,000 pieces. Now, shouldn't the few of you fulfill your promise and kowtow to me? Yi Chunfeng looked at the 6 doctors who were dumbfounded and said, This, making them kneel and kowtow was worse than killing them. However, it was impossible for them to deny it in front of everyone. In addition, Yi Chunfeng was a little strange, so they were at a loss. What? You want to go back on your word? Yi Chunfeng sneered. Do you know the consequences of going back on your word? So it's all our fault. We have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai and offended Your Excellency. Can Your Excellency be magnanimous and spare us? We promise that in the future, wherever Your Excellency appears, we will retreat. A white-haired doctor with a ruddy complexion admitted defeat. What if I don't agree? Yi Chunfeng slowly sipped his tea. Although your medical skills are superb, the 6 of us are not ordinary people. I hope you don't force us, otherwise. Before Old Who could finish his threat, the war devil suddenly appeared next to him. Before he could react, the war devil stomped on his ankle. More than 100 billion pounds of strength crushed his ankle and knocked him to the ground. Then, the war demon took another step and stomped on Elder Who's legs. The terrifying power directly broke his legs. The immense pain almost made Elder Who faint. If you agree to bet, you must accept your loss. If you want to go back on your word, don't blame us for being impolite. Yi Chunfeng glanced at Old Who was hugging his legs and groaning in pain. He showed his overbearing side and coldly warned them. Okay, we'll kneel. Looking at Old Who's miserable condition and the war devil's cruel means, the 5 doctors who had studied medicine all their lives were frightened. They obediently kneeled on the ground and kowtowed 10 times. Then, they took Old Who was twitching all over, and ran away in panic. Let's go to the library. After teaching the 6 people who looked down on him a lesson, Yi Chunfeng went to the Sidhu family's library. He, Zilin, and the war devil were reading more than 100,000 ancient books in the library, looking for the possible location of the demon clan's inheritance. Although Yi Chunfeng and the other 2 had powerful soul powers, there were too many ancient books in the library. The 3 of them spent a whole day, but they still couldn't finish reading them. Father, what do you think the 3 of them are? Did they really save you just to read the books? The Sidhu family's head shook his head and asked confusedly, looking at the 3 people who were quickly flipping through the ancient books in the library. I can't see through them. I hope they don't have any evil intentions toward the Sidhu family. Otherwise, if we want to deal with them, we will have to pay a big price. Thinking about what Zilin had done, the Sidhu family's head was a little mad. However, Yi Chunfeng and the other 2 were too mysterious. He didn't dare to act rashly. He could only grit his teeth and swallow his anger. After 3 days of searching, Yi Chunfeng and the other 2 had flipped through more than 100,000 ancient books. Through analysis and deliberation, they determined the 3 most dangerous places in the demon clan's inheritance. Only those places could hide the demon clan's inheritance better and not be discovered by outsiders. Let's go. We'll go to the 3 most dangerous places and try our luck. If the demon clan's inheritance isn't in those 3 dangerous places, we'll think of other ways. After confirming their targets, Yi Chunfeng and the other 2 left the library. They were ready to leave the Sidhu family and head directly to the Demon Sea to search for the 3 most dangerous places. The 3 of you, why don't you stay for a few more days so that we can play host to you? When the Sidhu family's head saw Yi Chunfeng and the other 2 leaving, he tried to persuade them to stay. No need. We still have other matters to attend to. We won't stay here any longer. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and left with Zilin and the war devil. Quickly inform Elder Who that the 3 of them have left. Thinking about what Zilin had done to him, the Sidhu family's head revealed a strong murderous intent in his eyes as he instructed in a low voice. Yes. The Sidhu family's head nodded. He took out his communication pearl, and told Elder Hu the whereabouts of Yi Chunfeng and the other two, completely ignoring Yi Chunfeng's kindness. After leaving the Sidhu family's residence, Yi Chunfeng and the other two immediately went to the seaside and prepared to enter the Demon Sea. Suddenly, Yi Chunfeng's powerful soul perception sensed that there were more than 10 powerful demon clan experts hiding in the Demon Sea. Moreover, near the beach, Yi Chunfeng also sensed Elder Hu's aura. "How dare you? How dare you ambush me?" Yi Chunfeng's pupils shrank as murderous intent shot out from his deep eyes. "Since you don't know what's good for you, let me send you to hell." The soul strength in Yi Chunfeng's mind instantly exploded, forming a terrifying dizziness. It blasted into the soul seas of the demon clan experts who were lying in ambush in the Demon Sea. The terrifying dizziness instantly tore their souls apart and killed them. "When you attack later, don't show any mercy. I want the 3 of them dead." Elder Hu, who had lost all his face, revealed a ferocious expression as he transmitted his instructions. However, as soon as his voice fell, several black-clothed men standing beside him suddenly bled from their 7 orifices. They fell limply to the ground and died. Looking at the scene in front of him, Elder Hu was stunned as his mind went blank. Immediately after, he felt a surge of soul strength that was beyond his imagination blasted into his soul sea. It tore his soul apart and killed him. After killing Elder Hu and the others, Yi Chunfeng flicked his finger. 2 extremely sharp sword lights pierced through the sky and flew towards the Sidhu family's residence at an extremely fast speed. TSK. The light shield that shrouded the Sidhu family's residence was shattered. The Sidhu family's head and son, who were drinking tea in the main hall, narrowed their eyes when they saw the 2 light swords flying towards them. Before they could react, the 2 light swords pierced through their heads, killing them instantly. Let's go to the Demon Sea. Chapter 2011. The 10,000 Demons Gorge was a long and narrow strait in the Devil Sea. Tens of thousands of terrifying demon beasts lived in the strait. Even if an ordinary ancestor entered the 10,000 Demons Gorge, it would be difficult for them to survive. According to the ancient records, the strait in front should be the 10,000 Demons Gorge. Yi Chunfeng's group of 3 quickly traveled through the Devil Sea for several hours before arriving at a huge strait. They discovered that there were a large number of demon beasts living in the strait. "Let's split up and search the 10,000 Demons Gorge as soon as possible." Although the 10,000 Demons Gorge was extremely dangerous and was a forbidden zone for life, it was not dangerous at all to Yi Chunfeng and the rest. Yi Chunfeng summoned Shen Daoxiu and the rest and entered the 10,000 Demons Gorge separately. They quickly searched the 10,000 Demons Gorge for the origin of the demon race. Ao. The intrusion of Yi Chunfeng and the rest alarmed the demon beasts in the 10,000 Demons Gorge. A large number of demon beasts appeared and opened their bloody mouths to bite them. Cosmos Sword Formation. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Cosmos Sword Formation. It revolved around his body and crazily harvested the demon beasts in the sea. He controlled the God-Eater brain to quickly deduce and search for the origin of the demon race. However, Yi Chunfeng and the rest spent nearly 7 days searching the 10,000 Demons Gorge that extended for who knows how many seas, but they still did not find the origin of the demon race. Let's go to the White Bone Trench. After confirming that the origin of the demon race was not in the 10,000 Demons Gorge, Yi Chunfeng did not stop. He teleported everyone to the Universe Realm and headed to the White Bone Trench alone. The White Bone Trench was an even more terrifying forbidden zone for life in the Devil Sea. The trench was covered with a large number of white bones. These white bones were of the human race, demon race, and heaven race. No one knew how the White Bone Trench was formed. However, because the White Bone Trench was filled with strangeness, it was difficult for anyone who entered to come out alive. Furthermore, there were no opportunities in the White Bone Trench. Over time, no one stepped into the White Bone Trench. What a strange power. When Yi Chunfeng arrived outside of the White Bone Trench at an extremely fast speed, the God-Eater brain felt a strange power in the White Bone Trench. When ordinary people were affected by this power, it was very easy for them to lose themselves. This White Bone Trench might really be hiding the origin of the demons. Yi Chunfeng muttered to himself. Like an arrow leaving the bow, he directly entered the White Bones Trench. He ignored the erosion of the strange power and swam to the bottom of the White Bones Trench. So many bones. Yi Chunfeng dove for more than 10,000 meters and arrived at the bottom of the White Bone Trench. He saw many severely corroded skeletons. Some of these bones were hundreds of meters long, some were as big as small hills, and some were sparkling and translucent like gemstones. Just as Yi Chunfeng was floating in the cold sea and staring at these white bones, the strange power that kept attacking his brain suddenly intensified and crazily surged into his soul sea. The next moment, the bottom of the White Bone Trench was in chaos. Gusts of black wind blew out of the thick piles of bones and swept toward Yi Chunfeng. The power of the restriction. Facing the double attack of the strange power and the black wind, Yi Chunfeng floated above the trench and didn't move. He controlled the God-Eater brain to rapidly deduce through the thick piles of bones. Under the God-Eater brain's deduction, Yi Chunfeng felt the power of the restriction. It seems like the origin of the demons is really in this White Bone Trench. After discovering the power of the restriction, Yi Chunfeng revealed a delighted expression. His body flashed and was about to break through the piles of bones and enter the restriction at the bottom of the sea. Ka. Suddenly, the piles of bones that were piled up for God knows how long surged with a strange power. A large number of bones quickly fused and formed a bone dragon that was thousands of meters long. It was shining with white bone light. It opened its mouth and roared at Yi Chunfeng. This is the ghost race's ability. Seeing the bone dragon that suddenly formed in front of him, Yi Chunfeng frowned. He directly tore apart the black wind that was sweeping him and attacked the ghost dragon. Break! Yi Chunfeng punched out and met the roaring bone dragon that was spewing out surging death aura. Boom! The unstoppable punch shattered the surging death aura and hit the bone dragon's ferocious head. Immediately after, a force of more than 1 trillion gene erupted and smashed the dragon's head. It also shattered the dragon's body that was thousands of meters long. Tyrannical kick. After shattering the bone dragon with one punch, Yi Chunfeng immediately stomped his foot on the thick pile of bones. The terrifying footprint seemed to be able to cut through the long river and crush the 9 hells. It directly created a bottomless black hole in the pile of bones within a radius of several miles. Who are you? Why have you come to this ancestor's resting place and disturbed this ancestor's slumber? As the entire pile of bones trembled violently, an angry and old voice rang out. A tall and sturdy man with a height of 3 zhang, wearing white bone armor, hollow eyes, and a white bone crown sat up from the pile of white bones. The dim light in his hollow eyes locked onto Yi Chunfeng as he spoke with a hoarse voice. Humph, a wandering ghost has no need to know my identity. Although this bone man had reached the realm of a 5-star ghost ancestor, to Yi Chunfeng, he posed no threat at all. His body flickered, turning into an afterimage as he tore apart the black wind that was attacking him. He quickly appeared in front of the 5-star ghost ancestor and punched out. With this punch, space shattered. The fist that shattered the void caused the 5-star ghost ancestor to feel a strong sense of danger. He immediately mobilized his powerful bones to form a massive white bone shield in front of him. Although the bone shield formed by the 5-star ghost ancestor was several hundred meters thick, it still could not block Yi Chunfeng's fist. In an instant, the white bone shield was shattered by Yi Chunfeng's punch. The terrifying fist power caused the void to tremble and the bone man to retreat again and again. Peak Ancestor Realm. Feeling the power of Yi Chunfeng's punch, the 5-star ghost ancestor's face suddenly changed. This ancestor has no grievance with you. Why have you come to the place where this ancestor is sleeping to make trouble? The 5-star ghost ancestor no longer had the arrogance he had just displayed, and his tone was clearly weaker. You and I indeed have no grievance, but unfortunately, you should not be guarding the origin of the demon race, Yi Chunfeng said deliberately. As soon as Yi Chunfeng's voice fell, the 5-star ghost ancestor's face suddenly changed. Catching this change in expression, Yi Chunfeng was basically certain that the demon race's origin was hidden in the white bone trench. Die. After locking onto his target, Yi Chunfeng did not delay any longer and slashed at the 5-star ghost ancestor with the terrifying power of the universe sword array. Yi Chunfeng's strength far surpassed the 5-star ghost ancestor's, so under his all-out attack, the 5-star ghost ancestor's offensive was instantly suppressed and his body was riddled with holes by the universe sword array. Die. After instantly injuring the 5-star ghost ancestor, Yi Chunfeng controlled the cosmos sword formation and quickly fused them together, turning them into an incomparably huge cosmos sword. With one slash, the cosmos sword split open the ice-cold seawater and slashed towards the screaming 5-star ghost ancestor. Chi. The terrifying universe sword easily broke through the 5-star ghost ancestor's body's defenses and cut him in half, instantly shattering his 10-meter-tall bone body. After killing the 5-star ghost ancestor with a single sword strike, Yi Chunfeng did not delay and directly dove into the bottomless pit created by the divine ability Tyrant's Foot, arriving at the pile of bones where he was blocked by a powerful space seal. Space-devouring insect, it's up to you. Yi Chunfeng summoned the space-devouring insect and had it quickly devour the space-devouring insect. Chapter 2012. Indeed, the origin of the demonic tribe is hidden here. After entering the seal, Yi Chunfeng felt a powerful origin energy. Ancient trees that were hundreds of feet tall grew here, exuding a powerful spirituality. Empty God. When Yi Chunfeng floated above the origin of the demonic tribe, he immediately felt a powerful soul power locking onto him. Who are you? Why are you trespassing here? A deep voice resounded in Yi Chunfeng's ears. The voice was so loud that it hurt Yi Chunfeng's eardrums. Would you believe me if I said that I accidentally trespassed here? Yi Chunfeng smiled faintly. No matter what you are here for, you have to die. The demonic tribe Empty God, who was guarding the origin of the demonic tribe, snorted coldly. A large number of black chains broke out of the origin of the demonic tribe. They were like swimming dragons, sealing the heavens and earth. The terrifying aura made Yi Chunfeng feel suffocated. Peak low-level Empty God. Yi Chunfeng felt that the aura released by the demonic tribe Empty God was more than 10 times stronger than the Empty Gods and Ancient Gods. He guessed that the demonic tribe Empty God should be a peak low-level Empty God. Die. Under the control of the demonic tribe Empty God, a large number of black chains attacked Yi Chunfeng. He wanted to kill Yi Chunfeng, who had trespassed into the origin of the demonic tribe. Hong Meng bloodline burn, God's heart merge. At this critical moment, Yi Chunfeng raised his ability to the pinnacle of half-step virtual God. He summoned the divine sword Glutton and attacked with all his might. Streaks of sharp sword gleams were intertwined, cutting through all obstacles and shattering the black chains that were attacking him. Empty God Artifact. You have an Empty God Artifact. Sensing the level of the divine sword swallowing sky, the demonic tribe Empty God was shocked. He was shocked that Yi Chunfeng, who was only Ancestor Realm, could control an Empty God Artifact. The number of Empty God artifacts in the Empty God realm was far less than the number of Empty God. Many intermediate Empty Gods did not have an Empty God artifact. I was wondering why you dared to barge into this place. It turns out that you have such a trump card. However, the Void God artifact alone won't be able to save you. You are destined to die here. A crack appeared in the pitch-black demonic origin source. A demonic faux god with a pair of blood-red eyes appeared, shrouded in black light. He spoke with a murderous intent. Really? Yi Chunfeng sneered and summoned the three virtual God Almighties, Evil God, Empty God Tao, and Ancient God Eternal God, from the universe realm. He was prepared to suppress the virtual god of the devil tribe with all his might to prevent him from reporting for help. Three virtual gods. Looking at the three virtual gods who had suddenly appeared, the virtual god of the devil tribe revealed a solemn expression. Especially when he looked at the evil god, he felt a strong sense of danger from him. Nine Nether, do you still recognize this god? Back then, the evil god was very close to the heavenly race and the demon race. He knew many foe gods of the heavenly race and the demon race. He looked at the foe gods of the demon race, shrouded in black light, and said coldly, "You're the evil god." Hearing the familiar voice of the demon god and looking at his vaguely familiar face, the virtual god of nine serenities suddenly recalled his identity and exclaimed, "Weren't you suppressed by the Protoss with a virtual god weapon? Could it be that you've escaped?" "That's right, this god has escaped." The evil god nodded. His thunderous voice shook the space around him. "Evil god, since you've escaped, why are you helping outsiders against the demon race? You should know that the heavenly race, the demon race, and the evil race were in the same camp back then. What you're doing is equivalent to betraying both of our races." Recalling that the evil god had an immortal body and that he was suspected to have broken through to mid-level virtual god after escaping, the virtual god of Nine Nether's expression became even more solemn. "So what if I've betrayed you? I've been suppressed for countless years and neither of your races came to rescue me," the evil god said ruthlessly. "All right, let's not talk nonsense with him. Let's end this quickly and get rid of him first." As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng integrated his Chaos Dharma and forcefully raised his ability to the peak of low-level virtual god. Together with the other three virtual gods, he launched a ferocious attack on the virtual god of Nine Nether. Although the virtual god of Nine Nether's ability was terrifying and he was one step away from mid-level virtual god, he could not withstand the ferocious attacks of Yi Chunfeng and the other three at all. His demonic territory was broken by the evil god's hand. Boom! There was a loud noise. The evil god's hand condensed by the evil god imprinted on the virtual god of Nine Nether's chest violently. The powerful evil god's power broke through his body's defense and blasted into his body, sending him flying. Divine Sword Sky Devouring / The virtual god of Nine Nether was sent flying by the evil god. Yi Chunfeng instantly activated his invincible sword body and integrated it with the divine sword Sky Devouring. He slashed at the virtual god of Nine Nether. The slash tore the entire space into two halves. The terrifying sword power seemed to be able to split a realm. With an invincible stance, it slashed at the virtual god of Nine Nether, who was holding a pseudo-virtual god weapon long spear and defending with all his might. Boom, 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 boom. The virtual god of Nine Nether's arms were immediately injured after receiving Yi Chunfeng's attack. The terrifying rebounding force passed through the pseudo-virtual god weapon long spear and into the virtual god of Nine Nether's body. It continued to injure his body and aggravated his injuries. Demonic origin, integrate with my body. As his injuries worsened, the virtual god of Nine Nether immediately integrated with the demonic origin to heal his injuries rapidly. He increased his abilities and fought against Yi Chunfeng and the other three with all his might. Middle Stage Virtual God. Sensing that the virtual god of Nine Nether had integrated with a large amount of demonic origin and had stepped into the middle stage virtual god level, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned the two primitive embryos of Taoism and let them enter the demonic origin to forcefully seal it. However, the demonic origin contained much more energy than the ancestral lands of ordinary forces. The two primitive embryos of Taoism could not seal it at all. Yi Chunfeng had no choice but to summon the War Devil, Felling Ancestor, Grim Reaper, and the rest. He then inserted the universal sword into the demonic origin to forcefully suppress the demonic origin. Another great virtual god weapon. The virtual god of Nine Nether could not help but raise his eyebrows as he looked at the universal sword that was releasing universal chi and continuously destroying the demonic origin. Who is this person? Why does he have two great virtual god weapons and so many virtual gods and half-stepped virtual gods guarding him? Yi Qinfeng's techniques and foundation had broken the virtual god of Nine Nether's knowledge again and again. It made him feel that Yi Qinfeng was not simple. However, after witnessing Yi Qinfeng's techniques and foundation, he was even more determined to kill Yi Qinfeng. If he could kill Yi Qinfeng and obtain the treasures in his possession, the virtual god of Nine Nether felt that he might be able to step into peak virtual god level. God's territory destroy. While the virtual god of Nine Nether was distracted, the virtual god of Nine Nether and god of eternity opened their powerful god's territories and controlled them to attack the virtual god of Nine Nether. Boom, 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 boom. Two deafening explosions were heard. The virtual god of Nine Nether, who had integrated a large amount of demonic origin power and stepped into mid-level virtual god level, was sent flying hundreds of meters away by the two gods' territories. Streams of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Godless sword. The virtual god of Nine Nether was injured. Yi Qinfeng instantly deduced the 4 ancestor-level Dao diagrams to the extreme. He integrated them with his ancestor-level sword soul and stabbed the virtual god of Nine Nether with the divine sword devourer in his hand. He wanted to severely injure the virtual god of Nine Nether in one go. Human Junior, you can't kill me. Follow me to Nine Nether obediently. All of a sudden, Nine Nether summoned an extremely powerful treasure. It directly devoured Yi Qinfeng's sword that was attacking him. The next moment, the virtual god of Nine Nether summoned a dark gold talisman crystal. Chapter 2013. Nine Demon Gods Avatar. Shun Daoxiu and the others immediately recognized the tall figure as the avatar of the demon clan's patriarch, Nine Demon God. Clan leader Nine Demon, I'll leave them to you. I'll go kill that human brat. Although it was only one of Nine Demon God's avatars, in the demon clan's origin, this avatar could continuously fuse with the power of demon origin. It was practically immortal. Alright, leave them to me. The avatar of the Nine Demonic Gods let out a terrifying voice. He stood quietly in midair, immediately causing the entire space to tremble. It was as if the space could not withstand the pressure of his avatar, and could shatter at any time. Humph, if you were Nine Demon Gods' true body, we would be a little afraid of you. But you think you can stop us with just an avatar? The evil god snorted coldly. With a monstrous evil aura, he launched a ferocious attack on Nine Demon Gods' avatar. The evil god attacked with all his might. Shun Daoxiu and Shun Henggu did not hesitate either. They all raised their attack power to the maximum. With 2 supreme-grade ancestral artifacts in their hands, they continuously unleashed shocking killing moves to attack Nine Demon Gods' avatar. Boom, boom, boom. In order to rescue Yi Qinfeng, the 3 unleashed ferocious attacks. The terrifying attacks instantly suppressed Nine Demon Gods' avatar and severely injured him. However, as a large amount of demon origin fused with Nine Demon Gods' avatar, his injuries rapidly healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. He resisted the attacks of the 3 avatars. While the 9 demon gods' avatars were fighting against the 3 evil gods with all their might, the virtual god of Nine Gloom entered the spatial treasure, Nine Gloom. He wanted to take this opportunity to kill Yi Qinfeng and seize the treasures in his possession. Human brat, die obediently. Void god Nine Gloom roared. Terrifying divine power gushed out of his body and turned into rolling waves. It wildly fused into the pseudo-void god's spear in his hand and attacked Yi Qinfeng. We don't know who will die yet. Although the combat strength of the virtual god of the abyss was above his, there was not a trace of fear on Yi Qinfeng's face. He held the divine sword devourer in his hand and fought fiercely with the virtual god of the abyss in the abyss. 9 Underworld's power, exterminate. When the virtual god of 9 gloom attacked Yi Qinfeng with all his might, he kept controlling the 9 gloom power to transform it into the 9 gloom spear, piercing through Yi Qinfeng's body and draining his energy. Sword domain, destroy. Yi Qinfeng immediately opened up his sword domain when he was attacked by a large number of 9 Serenity's spears. Over 10,000 divine swords revolved around him, blocking the attacks of the 9 Serenity's spears with all his might. Ancestral art of slaughter, slaughter halo. The power of 9 Serenities was suppressed by Yi Qinfeng's sword territory. The virtual god of 9 Serenities immediately performed the supreme divine ability of the Devil tribe. In an instant, 9 killing halos were formed, increasing the attack power by 9 times. Virtual god Netherworld's combat strength was already above Yi Qinfeng's. Now that his attack power had been increased by 9 times, he posed a fatal threat to Yi Qinfeng. His ferocious attacks continued to suppress Yi Qinfeng's attacks, shattering the sword territory and forcing Yi Qinfeng to retreat. Mu Linger, hurry and come help me! With the 9 Serenities spear blocking Wentian's group, and Void God Jin lay still recovering from his injuries, Yi Qinfeng could only summon Mu Linger from the Cosmos realm. Although Mu Linger's battle prowess wasn't strong, her skills were frightening. If used properly, she could create quite a bit of trouble for the virtual god of 9 Serenities. Linger, use everything you know to deal with him, quick! Yi Qinfeng shouted at Mu Linger when he couldn't stop the virtual god of 9 Serenities' tide-like attacks. Alright. Mu Linger nodded. Her small, white hands moved quickly to mobilize the powerful spatial energy of nature to attack the virtual god of 9 Serenities. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Endless bolts of lightning, flames, boulders, ice, divine wood, and celestial light appeared around the virtual god of 9 Serenities, bombarding him with attacks. Although Mu Linger's attacks couldn't hurt the virtual god of 9 Serenities, they did distract him from attacking Yi Qinfeng with full force. Just as the enraged virtual god of 9 Serenities shattered the natural energy attacking him, Yi Qinfeng seized the chance to counterattack. 10,000 swords returned to origin. Endless primal chaos. 10,000 deities tribulation. Yi Qinfeng pushed the unrivaled sword body to its limits and turned his body into 10,000 swords. His left hand derived the endless primal chaos, while his right hand derived the 10,000 deities tribulation. At the same time, he used 3 supreme abilities to attack the virtual god of 9 Serenities. When the 3 supreme divine abilities attacked, the divine spirit tower fell from the sky under the control of Yi Qinfeng's mind. It was like a towering mountain that smashed onto virtual god Jiuyo's body. Although the virtual god of 9 Serenities' battle prowess was terrifying, he couldn't withstand the simultaneous attacks of the 3 supreme abilities and the divine spirit pagoda. Before the 3 supreme abilities, the virtual god of 9 Serenities' body defenses were instantly shattered. His head was smashed by the divine spirit pagoda, causing him to feel dizzy for a moment. The way of equipment manipulation. Seizing the opportunity of the virtual god of 9 Serenities' slow reaction, Yi Qinfeng used the way of equipment manipulation. He activated all the divine patterns in the divine sword devourer and slashed out a sword that was enough to destroy the stars. The terrifying sword on was like a startled swan that pierced through the sky. It pierced through the universe and slashed at the virtual god of 9 Serenities' body, directly cutting off his shoulder and arm. Primal Chaos Dharma Idol Devour. After cutting off the virtual god of 9 Serenities' shoulder, Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned the Primal Chaos Dharma Idol. It extended a large number of 5-colored roots and instantly swallowed up the virtual god of 9 Serenities' severed arm. No, what is this thing? The demons didn't have the undying blood in their bodies, and didn't have the abnormal recovery power of the celestial race. Seeing the severed arm being devoured by the Primal Chaos Dharma Idol, the virtual god of 9 serenities let out a terrified cry. After losing his right arm, the virtual god of 9 serenities' battle prowess was greatly reduced. The threat he posed to Yi Qinfeng was reduced to the lowest. Blood-bursting art. Just as the virtual god of 9 serenities was forcefully reforming his right arm, Mu Linger instantly condensed a mysterious light seal that melded into the virtual god of 9 serenities' body. Instantly, blood spurted out from the virtual god of 9 serenities' severed arm as the wound grew larger and larger. What kind of demonic art is this? The virtual god of 9 serenities used all his strength to seal the wound, only to find that his seal couldn't seal it. Blood kept flowing out. Divine sword swallows heaven / Seizing the virtual god of 9 serenities' moment of panic, Yi Qinfeng instantly merged with the divine sword swallows heaven and slashed at the virtual god of 9 serenities' body. Swish! A deep sword wound appeared on the virtual god of 9 serenities' body as large amounts of blood spurted out uncontrollably. Blood-bursting art. At this moment, Mu Linger condensed another light seal that melded into the virtual god of 9 serenities' body to speed up the blood spurting out. After using the blood-bursting art twice in a row, Mu Linger's little face turned pale and her body weakened. She was promptly transported by Yi Qinfeng to the universe realm to rest. 9 serenities, it's time to send you to hell. Having lost his right arm and excessive blood loss, the virtual god of 9 serenities' combat strength dropped by several levels. Seizing this rare opportunity, Yi Qinfeng continuously launched fierce attacks on him, worsening his body's injuries and weakening his combat strength. As his injuries worsened, the virtual god of 9 serenities didn't dare to stay in the 9 serenities for long and wanted to leave quickly. Want to escape? Isn't it too late? Yi Qinfeng laughed coldly. The evil slaughter thousand flows flew out of his body and turned into an endless river of death, instantly trapping the heavily injured virtual god of 9 serenities inside. Next, the divine spirit pagoda descended from the sky and sealed off all escape routes for the virtual god of 9 serenities. Chaos Dharma Idol Devour. After trapping the heavily injured virtual god of 9 serenities, Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned the Chaos Dharma Idol and turned into the Chaos Divine Wood to attack the virtual god of 9 serenities. In the face of the 5 colored roots extended from the Chaos Divine Wood, the severely injured virtual god of 9 gloom could not resist at all. The 5 colored roots broke into his broken body one after another, madly devouring the energy in his body. No, why is the Chaos Divine Wood on you? Virtual gods were extremely difficult to kill, but the universe's number 1 divine wood, the Chaos Divine Wood, could easily kill them. Faced with the Chaos Divine Wood's devouring, the virtual god of 9 serenities attacked wildly. Unfortunately, his injuries were too severe, and he was suppressed by the evil slaughter thousand flows and the divine spirit pagoda, so he couldn't tear apart the 5 colored root. Soon enough, his body began to wither and his resistance grew weaker and weaker. In the end, he was devoured by the Chaos Divine Wood and sucked dry, dying on the spot. Chapter 2014. 6 Chaos Divine Fruits with Complete Territory Intent. Yi Qinfeng smiled in satisfaction as he watched the Chaos Divine Tree devour Netherworld Virtual God and condense 6 Chaos Divine Fruits with Complete Territory Intent. If used properly, these 6 Chaos Divine Fruits were enough to allow Grim Reaper, War Demon, and the others to step into true Virtual God level. Primordial Blood Refine. After killing the virtual god of 9 gloom, the space treasure, 9 gloom, became an ownerless item. Yi Qinfeng quickly squeezed out a large amount of his origin blood and merged it into 9 gloom, forcibly making it recognize him as its master. The primordial blood's level was too high. After merging with it, the space treasure Netherworld quickly established a connection with Yi Qinfeng, becoming his second supreme grade ancestral artifact space treasure. Return. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng withdrew Netherworld Virtual God into his body, refined it, and appeared in the outside world. Meanwhile, the battle between Shen Daoshu, Demon God, and the others and the 9 Demon Gods' avatars had reached its climax. Terrifying attacks constantly shattered the space, shattering towering ancient trees. Qingfeng, seeing Yi Chunfeng put away 9 Gloom and appear, while 9 Gloom's virtual god had turned into a dried corpse, Shen Daoshu and the others let out a long sigh of relief. They put all their energy into the fierce battle. Damn it, I'll destroy all of you! There were not many virtual gods in the entire virtual god realm. Each death would cause a great impact. Netherworld Virtual God, who had been killed by Yi Chunfeng, had a chance to step into mid-level Virtual God. His death greatly weakened the overall strength of the demonic tribe. Humph, how dare a mere avatar speak so arrogantly? Demon God snorted coldly and said in an incomparably domineering manner. He constantly blasted out void-shattering attacks, fiercely attacking the avatar. Ancestral Swords. While Demon God and Shen Daoshu were fiercely attacking the avatar, Yi Chunfeng activated his invincible sword body, instantly forming tens of thousands of invincible divine swords to attack the avatar. Yi Chunfeng's participation instantly turned the situation around, causing the 9 Demon Gods' avatars to be attacked from both sides. Their terrifying attacks were gradually suppressed. The demonic tribe's origin was suppressed by the Universal Sword, War Demon, Grim Reaper, and the others, bit by bit, not giving the 9 Demon Gods a chance to merge. Demonic Descent. His attacks were suppressed, and his injuries were worsening. Burning his body, his external incarnation forcibly executed the supreme magic of the devil race, launching the most ferocious attacks at Yi Chunfeng and the others. In the blink of an eye, beams of unparalleled demonic light descended upon heaven and earth, dyeing the entire space. They engulfed Yi Chunfeng and the others, constantly destroying their physical bodies. Demonic God, Avatar. At the critical moment, Evil God's body kept growing bigger and bigger, blocking in front of Yi Chunfeng and the others. He used his immortal body to block the attacks of Demon Descends to the world. When he was defending with all his might, he borrowed the divine sword Devour the Sky. The Demon God was a mid-level virtual god. In his hands, the divine sword Glutton could unleash its full power. The demon descends the heavens, which could instantly kill a half-step virtual god, was slashed apart by the divine sword swallowing the heavens. The terrifying sword light carried an invincible force as it slashed toward the demon descends the heavens avatar. Chi. The defense of the avatar was broken, and the terrifying sword light left a deep sword mark on its body. Next, the evil god wielded the divine sword, Devour the Heavens, and continued to launch ferocious attacks at him, riddling the demon descends to the heavens with thousands of holes, continuously worsening his injuries. When his avatar was heavily injured by the evil god's divine sword, Yi Chunfeng and the other 2 simultaneously unleashed their powerful domains to attack his avatar. Boom, boom, boom. 3 loud sounds rang out. The 3 domains unleashed by Yi Chunfeng and the other 2 were shattered at the same time. The terrifying power of the domains crushed the avatars of Yi Chunfeng as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. His entire body exploded. Chaos Divine Wood, Devour! When the 9 demon gods' avatars were destroyed, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned the Chaos Divine Wood. He controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to grow continuously. It extended its 5-colored roots and took root on the broken body of his avatar, devouring it madly. Suppress. The evil god and the other 2 had a tacit understanding. When the Chaos Divine Wood was devouring, they attacked at the same time to suppress the avatar. Soon, under the full suppression of the evil god and the other 2, the avatar lost its ability to fight back. In the end, it was devoured by the Chaos Divine Wood. The Chaos Divine Wood has condensed another 6 Chaos Divine Fruits with complete territory intent. In addition to the remaining Chaos Divine Fruits from earlier, Yi Chenfeng now had 10 Chaos Divine Fruits with half territory intent and 15 Chaos Divine Fruits with complete territory intent. If used properly, he could help Grim Reaper, War Demon, and the rest step up to virtual god level. By then, the power he controlled would be able to challenge the other organizations outside of the heavens. Evil God Thousand Streams, 10 ancient ancestral flags, seal the entire space. After killing the abyssal virtual god guarding the demonic tribe's origin, the 9 demon gods' avatar, Yi Chenfeng immediately sealed the entire space. Evil God, Senior Daoshu, Senior Timeless, War Demon, Grim Reaper. Yi Chenfeng was not stingy. He took out 8 Chaos Divine Fruits with complete territory intent and gave them to the Evil God and the rest. Zhenlei, although you've just submitted to me, I won't lose sight of the others. This Chaos Divine Fruit is for you. I hope you can heal your serious injuries as soon as possible and step into intermediate virtual god level. Yi Chenfeng summoned Zhenlei, who was seriously injured and had been recuperating in the universe realm, and gave him a Chaos Divine Fruit. Chaos, these 5 Chaos Divine Fruits are yours. I hope you can break through to 6-star Demon Ancestor as soon as possible. Then, Yi Chenfeng gave 5 Chaos Divine Fruits with partial territory intent to the Chaos Divine Beast. Alright, everyone, cultivate here. We'll leave after we've refined all the origin power here. After distributing the Chaos Divine Fruits, Yi Chenfeng consumed a Chaos Divine Fruit with half territory intent and began to absorb the powerful origin power to cultivate in the demonic tribe's origin. At the same time, the death of the virtual god caused an uproar in the demonic tribe. Not good, Grand Elder. The life tablet of the virtual god of 9 Gloom is broken. The elder in charge of guarding the virtual god's life tablet tower of the demonic tribe discovered by accident that the life tablet of the virtual god of 9 Gloom was broken. He immediately found the demonic tribe's grand elder, Mo Luohai, and informed him of the situation. What? The life tablet of the virtual god of 9 Gloom is broken? Mo Luohai's eyes widened, sensing the seriousness of the situation. The virtual god of 9 Gloom held a high position in the demonic tribe. Moreover, he had been guarding the demonic tribe's origin. His sudden death meant that something had happened to the demonic tribe's origin. Who is so bold to kill the virtual god of the demonic tribe and invade our demonic tribe's origin? Although Mo Luohai was the grand elder of the demonic tribe, he was only a peak ancestor-level almighty and could not mobilize the virtual gods of the demonic tribe at all. Moreover, the demonic tribe's clan leader, Demon God Jiu, had already led several virtual gods of the demonic tribe to the demon realm to search for the Chaos Tomb. It could be said that the demonic tribe was at its weakest right now. Old clan leader, I have no choice but to ask the old clan leader for help. After some contemplation, Mo Luohai decided to head to the demonic tribe's old clan leader, who was also the demonic tribe's strongest person, Yama God, to inform him of the situation and ask for his help. Mo Luohai, why are you here? A gray-robed demon god who had been guarding Yama God's cultivation ground opened his tightly shut eyes and said in a low voice, Demon God Luowang, something big has happened. Mo Luohai respectfully told Demon God Luowang about the death of the virtual god of 9 Gloom and the possibility that something had happened to the demonic tribe's origin. 9 Gloom is dead. Demon God Luowang's face turned extremely gloomy when he heard the news. His deep eyes flashed with ferocity. The old clan leader is in closed-door cultivation. No one is to disturb him. Demon God Luowang's eyes flashed with ferocity. How about this? I'll make a trip to the demonic sea with Demon God Bai Wu. I'd like to see who is so bold to kill the demon god of the demonic tribe. Thank you, Demon God Luowang. Chapter 2015. Half-Step Virtual God Breakthrough. After devouring a large amount of demonic origin and refining the Chaos Divine Fruit, Yi Chunfeng, who had accumulated a sufficient foundation, broke through the bottleneck of his cultivation base and broke through to half-step virtual god level. His physical strength had even reached 1.5 trillion kilograms. I wonder if I can fight a mid-level virtual god with my current ability. Yi Chunfeng felt that his combat strength had increased by dozens of times. His sword territory and invincible sword body had become even more powerful. His physical body alone could contend with an ordinary low-level virtual god. Yi Chunfeng wanted to know what level his combat strength had reached. Yi Chunfeng had broken through to half-step virtual god. The demon god, divine Daoshu, and the rest had refined the chaos divine fruit and devoured a large amount of demonic origin. Their abilities had increased significantly. The demon god, in particular, had used the chaos divine fruit and demonic origin to heal his internal injuries. His combat strength had increased. Just as Yi Chunfeng and the rest were hiding in the demonic origin, devouring the powerful demonic origin to break through to a higher level, demon god Luo Wang and demon god Bai Wu appeared above the demon sea. Following them were 2 low-level virtual gods from the demonic tribe. Sending 4 virtual gods at once showed how important the demonic tribe was to the demonic tribe. The 3 of you, follow me. Seal the skeleton trench. Don't let the enemy escape. Demon god Luo Wang and the other 3 wore dark gray robes. They were not burly, but they were filled with terrifying energy. They broke into the demon sea and arrived above the skeleton trench. They threw out a large number of ancient formation flags and sealed the entire skeleton trench. Then, the 4 of them flew toward the bottom of the skeleton trench at lightning speed. They wanted to enter the demonic tribe's origin to kill Yi Chunfeng and the rest. The demonic tribe virtual gods came quickly. Yi Chunfeng's remnant soul in the skeleton trench sensed demon god Luo Wang's aura and woke up from its cultivation. After a few days of devouring, they had only devoured 1/6 of the demonic tribe's origin. They would not leave at all. Demon god, divine void, ancient eternal, follow me to fight the enemy. Virtual god Zhen Lei's injuries had not healed, so Yi Chunfeng did not disturb him from devouring the demonic tribe's origin to heal. He brought demon god Luo Wang and the other 2 to the seal and waited. To hide their identities, Yi Chunfeng and the other 3 changed their appearances. Demon god Luo Wang and the rest could not see their true identities. Who are you? Why did you kill the virtual gods of the devil tribe and invade our tribe's origin? Demon god Luo Wang and the rest, demon god Daoshu and the rest. Demon god Luo god, and the rest's demon god and the rest is Daoshu and the rest's demons void's divine void demon and demons' god and the rest. One had to know that there were not many foe gods in the entire foe god world. 3 foe gods were mobilized at once, and one of them was a mid-level foe god. Only the various clans at the peak of the foe god world had such a foundation. Demon god Luo god of god demon's origin. Of god. Who are you? Demon god Luo Wang asked with hostility. Luo Wang, you've lived for so long. Have you wasted your life? Do you think we'll tell you our true identities? Demon god Bai Wu and demon god Xin Daoshu could not control their killing intent as they looked at demon god Luo Wang, whose hands were stained with the blood of god tribe mighty beings. You're not going to tell me? I'd like to see if you'll still be so stubborn when I capture you later, demon god Luo Wang said coldly as a terrifying demon god shadow appeared on his body. Leave demon god Luo Wang to me. Although Yi Chunfeng could tell from demon god Luo Wang's aura that he was more powerful than demon god Bai Wu and the rest, he wanted to test his own combat strength against demon god Luo Wang. Alright. Chunfeng, be careful. Demon god and the other 2 nodded and did not fight for demon god Luo Wang. Let's go. Hide our identities as much as possible. Yi Chunfeng reminded them and burned his primordial blood. He merged his chaotic dharma and God's heart to elevate his ability to mid-level virtual god. What kind of divine power is that? Demon god Luo Wang and the rest of the demon gods were shocked when they sensed that Yi Qianfeng's combat strength had elevated from half-step virtual god to mid-level virtual god. Although they had many powerful treasures with them, none of them were so powerful that they could elevate their abilities by 2 ranks in an instant. It was extremely difficult for a virtual god to cross 1 rank each time. They had never seen a treasure that could allow one to cross 2 ranks. This man has a big secret. Demon god Luo Wang's eyes were burning with passion. He controlled the demon god shadow that appeared on his body and attacked Yi Qianfeng, who was approaching him. "Humph, you're too naive to think that a mere shadow can hurt me," Yi Qianfeng snorted coldly. His strength of over 6 trillion gene erupted as he launched an unparalleled punch at the demon god's phantom. For this punch, Yi Qianfeng had compressed his strength to the maximum. When it landed on the demonic god's shadow, the explosive power instantly shattered the demonic god's shadow. Then, Yi Qianfeng threw another punch. He relied on his absolute strength to attack demon god Luo Wang. Demon god Luo Wang did not look burly. However, he had been cultivating his body and had trained his body to the maximum. He threw a punch at Yi Qianfeng. When the fist and palm collided, the explosive strength collapsed the entire space. Yi Qianfeng and demon god Luo Wang's bodies trembled at the same time. They were evenly matched. The next moment, the two of them exploded with shocking strength and fought fiercely again. Yi Qianfeng and demon god Luo Wang relied on pure physical strength to fight fiercely. The demon god White Mist, who had turned into a cloud of white mist, fought fiercely. The demon god White Mist cultivated the White Mist territory. In the White Mist territory, she was like an erratic cloud that changed unpredictably. It was impossible to guard against her. Fortunately, the demon god had refined a chaos divine fruit and devoured a large amount of demonic tribe's origin. He had healed all his hidden injuries and his combat strength had increased by more than 10 times. Coupled with his immortal body, the demon god White Mist's attacks were unable to cause any fatal damage to him. The demon god and the demon god White Mist fought fiercely from the bottom of the trench to the middle of the trench. Then, they fought fiercely from the middle of the trench to the upper part of the trench, destroying the entire trench. The attacks of Empty God, Shernheng, and the 2 low-level demonic tribe virtual gods formed a terrifying destructive force that constantly destroyed the White Bone Trench. After cultivating in the demonic tribe's origin for a few days, Empty God, Shernheng, and Gu's combat strength had increased significantly. However, to hide their identities, the 2 of them dared not use territory power or divine abilities of the demonic tribe. They could only attack with supreme-grade ancestral weapons. Very soon, 3 days had passed. In these 3 days, the 8 virtual gods had completely destroyed the White Bone Trench. The thick layer of white bones that covered the trench had been reduced to dust. In these 3 days, none of the 8 virtual gods could do anything to each other. None of them could suppress the other with an overwhelming advantage and severely injure the other party. However, the demonic tribe's origin was being devoured by the war devil, the half-step demon god, and the others. The origin power it contained was constantly being drained, and many of its branches had withered. This made demon god Luo Wang and the others anxious as they sensed the changes in the demonic tribe's origin.